Happy Friday, happy Saturday to the everybody on the Far East side, the Oceania. That includes Australia and New Zealand, our Aussie and Kiwi friends down there. And we should have all of Europe and everybody in America. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. Woohoo! What's up, Rochelle? I'm so happy you can make it all the way from South Africa. And we have Gail. I see Gail. I see DC. Hello, DC. My dorky friend, Linda with a Y. I'm going to tell you about Linda and the Y here in a second. Somebody. Alessandra. Ciao. Alessandra is from the great North Tundra of Canada. Her, Gail, and Ivan are the three trifecta up in that area in Ontario. I'm still looking for somebody in all the other provinces of Canada to show up and say hi. I have, my whole life I had cousins in Alberta, in Calgary. Hey, Joseph. Lulu Bubble. UK. All right, Lulu. I like your name, by the way. We also have another Lulu in the group. She is a princess. She is one of two princesses that I know of that I think I was looking for. They have some very valuable information to share with us. And I have some earth-shattering news to pass on to you all today. You're not going to want to miss this episode for sure. We have some distinguished guests. You know, right now it's 12:11 here on the west coast of the United States. Alessandra, I didn't know you had a dog named Lulu. I know you have a cat. Or is this the same Alessandra I'm thinking of? Is that Sandra Poo or is that a different Alessandra? We also, on deck, we have some very distinguished guests that I'm going to be speaking with today. The first person, we were going to get with Sarah and finish her story from volume 5, but she wrote JFro and said she was feeling sick today, so she's not going to be on. So we're going to start with my new brother from another mother. His name is Darko, and Darko has a channel, and I'll let him tell you about his channel. And he and I met shortly after my interview with Jeff Mara podcast, and he lives down in Guatemala, and we're going to talk about all things Darko with him today. And it looks like we have Stella, our sister from Great Britain but living in Italy. And so far that's it. So if you would, and we have Hanu. Hanu, I don't know if I've ever met Hanu. So Hanu, we will get to you third on the list today. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be an action-packed day all around today. Honeybee, it's good to see you. We love you. Miss you. Now let me pop out the chat so I can see it outside of... there we go. Bear with me a second here, guys. Did everyone have a great week this week? I hope so. Yes, it's been a very interesting week on my side, and those of you who know what I'm talking about understand that more than a lot of you might. Okay. Alright, let's get that over here. Okay. There we go. That's better. Arian. Hi from the Netherlands. I don't think we've ever met before. So welcome. Welcome to my channel. I hope you subscribed. And please, anybody watching this stream today, if you haven't already joined our Facebook group, the name of it is Game of Scrolls. There should be a link in the description here, or you can just go to Facebook and go to groups and type in Game of Scrolls, all one word. And Jfro will be in the chat reminding everybody about that. Okay, Jfro, I'm going to make sure you have full moderation in this particular chat here real fast, because I think that's what we've been missing on the other streams we had. But I couldn't do anything until the stream went live. Okay. Okay, there you go. I don't know, that's kind of strange. I don't know why I can't save that. Jafer, I made you a full moderator, but I can't save it for some reason. Okay. Also, all right. All right. So, oh, Jfro, I see you have a little wrench icon next to you. That's cool. That's new. I've never seen that before. I'm also going to fire up our intercom system. Right now. So, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming in today. This is going to be really a cool program today. I've been, since we started 5 weeks ago, since my first interview on the Jeff Mara podcast, some amazing things have happened here. When I created this channel, I had no idea that it was going to morph into what it has. And I really haven't talked all that much about it. DC, you're funny. um, I think, as most of you have already started to figure out, this is much, much more than just us. There's something else going on here that has taken on an amazing. How do I say it? Okay. Let me just come right out and say what I'm trying to say, I guess. Okay. I've been thinking about how to break this to everyone without sounding totally crazy and off my rocker. But we all are coming together. We found each other via the Jeff Mara podcast. Those of you who are here so far, most of you, that's how we met. And it's no coincidence how we met. And we met in such amazing ways that it just completely blows my mind every day. And not only are we coming together at a designed time, everybody's coming in when they're supposed to. You know, it's been like I'm telling you, it's been kind of like, it reminds me of the Noah Ark story, which is in so many different civilizations. It just has different names and the characters have different names, but the plot is the same. You know, if you can imagine how all the animals were lined up and moved into the ark, that's exactly how you all came here. Just like very orderly. I've talked to hundreds and hundreds, like almost 2,000 of you, and only a small portion of you have joined our Facebook group. And that's the first thing I want to talk about. Anybody who hasn't joined our Facebook group, even if you don't like Facebook, this is where the magic happens every day. This is where you need to start hanging out at. We have literally an astral dream team that is coming together to do something very, very important for this planet. And I'm just humbled that I was able to create a space for all this to happen. You know, this was part of my journey here, is to do this. You know, I don't want to be seen as some guru or some, messiah or anything like that. That's not what's going on here. What's going on is we're all coming together. I just happen to create a space for us all, that's all. But we're all in this equally together, and we're going to do amazing things together. And so what I can tell you is things are happening fast. I've been trying to keep slowing things down, but every day that goes by, my energy, my superpowers, as I call them, all of our superpowers seem to be going to another level. And these are not just run-of-the-mill powers like being a psychic medium and things like that. These are just over-the-top supernatural powers, like, well, some of us have X-ray vision. Some can read the matrix in the sky. One I just found out about in the last 40 hours can read the quantum entanglement net that the ancients talk about. If you want to ever know about that, just go to Google and type in Master of the Nets. It seems like all of us have come here for something big, and we're going to be opening portals with our energy. If you can just imagine that, we're going to be opening portals like in these huge ancient megalithic structures. We are going to be opening portals and doing some time shifting for our planet to help our planet move into the next, I guess, stage. I don't exactly know how all this is going to work, but I've seen it. I've had visions about it. Others have in this group as well. And I know some of you are brand new to all this, it seems, but you're not. You just have to remember. And that's my first message, is to tell everybody, those of you who are very shy and you've been kind of watching from the shadows at what's going on here, you need to not stay in the shadows anymore. We have a safe place to come. Our Facebook page is where we all meet. This is where you need to start mingling with other family members, because everybody holds a piece of this puzzle. And if you just stay in the shadows with your pieces, we can never learn anything about them. And you, every one of you, whether you think you're powerful or not, are very extremely powerful. I can assure you, none of this is a coincidence that I can tell from my point of view. And I have a central point of view. So it's just incredible across the board. I don't even have enough time on this stream to go into all the things that I've seen since all this started 5 weeks ago. I'm just trying to give you a general idea so far, and I'm going to give you some examples of what I'm talking about here in a second to show you how this is all happening so quickly and why we came together. So, first off, there's many. I'm going to tell you something that I've common denominators we all share. All those that have come together here. So some of the common denominators are: we seem to have all gone through some type of massive or major trauma in our lives at one point. Even if you didn't have an NDE like I did, it doesn't matter. None of that matters, because we're going to all learn astral projection. That is, you're going to have even a more deeper experience than an NDE, because you'll be able to have something over and over and over, and you're going to be learning how to control it, and we're going to do a lot of good with the knowledge that we're going to gain from it. And we can travel the universe together, I believe. I've never heard it being done like we're trying to do, so I know it's possible, and I wouldn't be here trying to help teach it to you all if I didn't believe that. This is not some pipe dream that's going on here. This is something bigger than us. And I'm trying to put the pieces together from a centralized point of view. I talked to Spirit Deer and others that I consider like ancient elders that have incarnated here, that have been sent here to help me figure out all this. Every one of you has just a unique specialty, and you need to come forward, especially if you hear something that really resonates with you, and you may not think you know anything, but you have to start communicating with us, and we need to share ideas. So we're always in chat rooms all throughout the day and night. I get very little sleep, and I'm trying to balance that the best I can. It turns out my life path that I'm on doesn't require much sleep. You can read about it if you look up my life path. It's a 2911. That'll confirm to you that I don't require much sleep. I can go days without sleep, and I think that's kind of why I was chosen for this position that I have right now. I think that's one reason. Okay, so that's one thing. We all seem to have some major trauma that we've gone through. I mean, just something just major. And that has gotten to where we are today. That's all roads from this trauma have led to the Jeff Mara podcast. The way I found him just a few days before I had an interview with him was surreal. The way you all found me was surreal. Some of you had never even heard of Jeff Mara like I hadn't. But we have all seemed to find each other in some way, and I've talked to every single one of you just about, and I've learned the ways you found me, and they're just as surreal. Not one story has been normal, I guess you could say. So from that vantage point, you have to know this is something very special coming together. We've been able to help people. Some of you you came here very broken, and you've been able to turn that around and make it in a positive way in a very quick time. Like, these traumas take years sometimes to get through, and you guys are getting through them very quickly, to the point where, yes, you'll still have to work out things as we go, but you've gotten to a position where you're ready to act in this effort, I guess you could say. You understand that something in your soul tells you that there's something bigger than the trauma, and once you get past the trauma side of it, now you're emboldened to do something with us all, and that's amazing. I see it daily, and I can give some examples, like our Victoria, our Victoria from upper state New York. She's had so many revelations lately. So many fascinating things have happened, and now she smiles for the first time in 5 weeks. She just smiles all the time. It's so awesome, and I told her, I took her under my wing right from the start because I knew that she really needed some help, and it turns out, and I wanted to tell you this, I also want her to come on one of these experiences in the future and tell her story, the whole story from her vantage point. But basically what happened is her boyfriend, the one that passed right before we all came together, turns out that he hasn't passed over yet, and he was tormenting her in a way where he was making her it turns out she's a really strong empath, and she didn't understand the feelings she was feeling, which is very common for an empath that doesn't know they're an empath. Like me, I didn't know I was an empath in that way until now. I always was sensitive, I knew that, but I didn't know how to listen to my intuition and trust my feelings. I didn't know what I was seeing, I couldn't interpret, but now I'm starting to, and some of you all are going to be teaching me how to even hone in on those abilities even more, and I'm very happy about that. But so we have Victoria, Kirsty with a K, very first person I talked to that joined us from Australia. She's the very first person I ever talked to from you all that came from the Jeff Maher podcast, and she's probably the biggest transformation I've ever seen in this group so far. Victoria would be a tie or close second. Wait till you've seen on the last episode, on the last experiences you saw her. She shared with her part of her yard property, and she was running like a little schoolgirl through her property. That was not the Kirsty I met at the beginning. And it seems like all of us are transforming, and all this love is bouncing off each other, and we're all feeding off each other's energy, and it's such amazing. We're going on 5 weeks. Well, yeah, 5 weeks. And tomorrow will be 5 weeks with this kind of love in my heart. I've never experienced anything like this. So, those of you who have not reached out and talked about their trauma and experiences, you need to come on in our group. We talk about this every day. It's not just going to be these YouTube videos. We're going to have more and more of these public revelations, but don't feel like you have to come in public and tell your stories. We have a safe place for you to come. So please, everybody that watches this, please join Game of Scrolls. That's our Facebook group. This is where you need to be, and this is where you need to at least say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from, and how you got here, because I know there's something unique about you and why you're here, and we need to know about it. We need to know where all these pieces of the puzzle fit together so we can do what we're meant to do, because we came here to do this. And so that's one aspect. We all seem to have a lot of trauma. Two, we all seem to have a superpower, or a specialty of superpower. And the more we're around each other, it seems we can give these same qualities or turn on each other's switches when we're in each other's energy fields, I guess you could say. And it works not just while we're in groups or something. This, I believe it's using the ley lines and the vortexes we have here on planet Earth and everywhere else. We're sharing energy over the ley lines, and very powerful energy. I feel it's a healing energy. I feel like I've been, I feel so much better. I mean, I feel like I'm healing from the inside out. Like, I'm beginning to miss my medication doses because I'm not in that much pain anymore like I used to be. Even when we have low pressures that used to cause me a lot of pain, I seem to be healing somehow. So our power is very healing when we come together. And I see us coming together and healing, as well as opening portals and other things. We're all going to have energy. And there's going to be one or two of us that actually we're going to be feeding energy to. And through us, there's, like Kirsty is one. She is going to be, and we have somebody new that has come on the scene. Her name is Lucy, just like the movie Lucy. And she kind of even looks like Lucy. Those two are very powerful. These are powerful souls that we're gonna be using our energy to feed them, to open these gates and shift timelines and stuff, which I'm still kind of wrapping my mind around. But this is what they're telling me. This is what is starting to happen. They're seeing why they're here. And Lucy, and some of you might remember Rochelle. She was on a couple months before my interview with Jeff Mara. She also shared her NDE from South Africa. She's in the chat right now, and hopefully we have time to talk to her today. If not, we'll talk to her on the next one. But everybody needs to check out her channel, and maybe Rochelle, you can put your channel name in the chat so everybody can go there. She actually did a movie and mentioned us the other night, which was awesome. She did a video about synchronicities, and she mentioned our group, and I'm proud that she's with us. I wrote her right after my first interview with Jeff, and I asked her if she would be willing to come join us because my soul knew her. I knew she needed to be here. I don't know how that works. She's like one of the only ones I've met on the Jeff Meyer podcast that I've asked to join us so far. But with her, it was very natural for reaching out. But she doesn't use Facebook very much, so it took her a while to see my message. And I also have reached out to somebody else you may have heard or maybe remember. I didn't even know she was on the Jeff Meyer podcast, but I found her a different way. The one that was teaching how to use your throat to clear your mind. Her name is Lily Nova Starseed. And she was, I think it was 396. She was episode 396 on the Jeff Meyer podcast. And I was 693. We both had 369 in our interviews. So that was my first clue that made me recognize her. The second clue was she's an astrophotographer and actually channels ETs and takes pictures of spacecraft she sees in the sky, and I thought that was a really cool superpower to have on our team. So I hope she joins us at some point too. But she also has a YouTube channel, and she's gaining lots of traction on her channel right now. I think she's had her channel for about a year now. So the more people we collaborate with, the more we're going to come together as one big group in the end to just be able to channel massive amounts of energy and do some really amazing things on this planet. I know that. So also, so you remember, so in the midst of all this coming together and everything, I also, it's weird how this happened, but I met somebody I was meant to meet here on this planet, Linda with a Y, who you all know dearly. She and I have a very special connection that I was not expecting when all this started, and turns out that she actually followed in my footsteps my whole life, looking for me, and I was looking for her, but we never could sync up. But we both surrendered to the idea of ever finding each other. And when that happened, we both did it at the same time. And when that happened, we were able to find each other here. So that happened. And when we met, a lot of strange things started happening, like very powerful things. Like she noticed that I can go between dimensions, like with my spirit. I can switch between dimensions really fast without having to astral project or anything. I never knew I could do this. And so she's been kind of my, kind of like Edgar Casey was. They called him the sleeping prophet. What I'm doing reminds me kind of that. But she's been kind of regressing me like you would do a past life regression. And I don't even know she's doing it. She's the only one that has ever done this with me. It's like she thinks that she was engineered to do this for me. It's really surreal. But she's been writing notes down, keeping tabs of what I see when I go to these other dimensions that I don't even know what I'm doing. Hi, Eduardo. Nice to see you again. So stay tuned for this. I don't know what's going to come out of it, but we've become a pretty cool team, learning things that neither of us knew, even dreamed of happening. It's just pretty incredible. So if anything comes out of these regressions and things like that, I'll definitely share them with you. But eventually we're going to be together, and we're going to be able to find out more in person about how all this works and how she's able to channel or help figure out what I am channeling, I guess you could say, or how we're both doing it together. I have no idea, but it's so awesome, and I'm so happy about it. And so I know it's a lot of information to take in. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to take this much time, but this is very important for all you to know. This is very big, what's happening. I want you to know the enormity of it. Also, just came to my mind, has anybody seen Alvin? Our Alvin he was here on the very first couple streams, and he was going to work with me on making some binaural beats. But I haven't seen him in a while. I hope he's okay. I've been meaning to look him up and see what's going on with him. So, DC, you need to come in here and tell us who you are and what your superpower is as soon as possible. Because I know you've been uh, holding out on us. Let's see, what else can I tell you about what's been going on? Just such incredible things. Just healing taking place. Just miracles, as I call them. Miracles happen every hour in our family. And a lot of you may not see it, especially if you never hang out with us. You don't see it. Okay. JFro, I have, see if you can send me a message via the Zello program. See if I can hear you. Like if I send you, can you hear this? Ah, you have a big old radar. Well, yeah, I can hear you, JFro. Perfect. Mental telepath. Yep, I am receiving yours. So, DC, I'm very intrigued now. So, that's kind of what I know now. I wanted to share all that with you because it's very important. Again, if we're never going to find out what your puzzle piece is if you stay quiet and shy and keep to yourself. And I've seen a lot of shy ones of you come out so far. Like we had Nansha last time, if you remember. It took the whole stream for her to come on Zoom, but she finally did. Now we talk to her every day. Okay. Okay, I'm starting a new Zoom session. So anybody that was in there, please come back in there. Still don't have a paid copy of it, so we have 40 minutes at a time, which sucks, but until we can afford it, that's just how it's going to be. But we're getting through it. Yeah, definitely, DC. You need to come in and talk to us. We have chat rooms always going 24/7. Don't feel like just because I'm asleep or somebody else is asleep that there's nobody awake. There's always somebody awake. So just come in and just start meeting people. You know, it's that easy. You don't have to feel bad. It's a safe place where nobody's going to judge you. And if you don't like listening to your voice, just do it for a while. You'll find out that eventually you won't even notice that you're talking. You'll just be like, it'll be just like a normal conversation in your kitchen or living room. Because we're all family. It's not like we're all strangers. We all know each other. We just have to remember how we know each other. And the only way to find that out is by talking. So anyway, I know. Okay, so let's find out who is in our waiting room. I'm gonna bring in Darko next. Okay. And we are gonna meet Darko for the first time. I've been looking forward to this. Hey Darko. Can you hear me okay? Still can't hear you. Oh, there. Oh, you might have to mute your YouTube mic or YouTube's speakers, or you when you're on Zoom, and that's how it has to work, or else you'll get a nasty echo, I think. Oh, your microphone is muted. Let me see if I can unmute it. Can I unmute your mic? No. There you go. Hey, how's it going, Darko? Woohoo! Thanks for hanging in there for my long speech there. But this was an important impromptu announcement because uh, okay. Oh, no, hang on. Jayfro, now you're all in here. You were in the waiting room before. Okay, Darko. No. Um, do you want to share your video so everybody can see who you are? Ah, there you are. Let me move me over. Oh, I'm still learning OBS, so bear with me here. There, I don't want to. Let me put myself over here. There we go. But now we can see you. All right, Darko. I met Darko when we first started forming our family from the Jeff Mara podcast, and I think that's how we met too, right? It was through Jeff Mara. Why don't you tell everybody where you're from and where you are and what your mission has been lately? mm. 7 years. Wow. Cellular cycle. Right. So now, have you been getting the 7 year itch yet? Oh wow. Okay. Right. It is. It is. Yeah. Now, what drew you to our this neck of the woods, so to say? What how when you watched my interview, what did you think? Like, what? Right. 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 Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Now, now you need to come in and talk to people in our group sometime too, in our Game of Scrolls uh, Soul Tribe. Are you a member? Yeah, I think you are. You're a member. Oh, ah, ah, ah. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I got you. So you like to disconnect from the grid for a while at times. Or right. I was gonna say I've watched most of your videos on your channel, and uh, maybe what's the name of your channel? I can't so that everybody can go there and support you. Apotheosis. Is that a Is that a Greek word or a Greek term? Latin. Okay. Theos gods. Yep. Ah. Okay. Yeah. Nice. That's the one I saw. That's the one I landed on. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Kyle. Kyle Thomas. Right. Okay. Yeah. So after this stream ends, I'll post your both of your channels in my description. After that. Um, so everybody go over and support his channel. He has some good wisdom to share. And that's Dragon of the Luck, basically, right? Or Lucky Dragon. Yeah. Dragon of Luck, right. Uh, hablo en español también. So, so, so how did you come from Germany to Guatemala exactly? How did that? Oh, Austria. I knew there was an Austrian accent in there. Okay. Ah. So this was in Vienna you're talking about. Living in Vienna? Yeah. Oh. Oh, Mexico City. Oh, that's very polluted city, yeah. Ah. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We can hear you, Stella. you're, you're, I thought I was in an airport there for a second. there's there is no parking in the red zone, right? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear us? Yep. Mm-hmm. We can hear you. Um, Stella, Jafro, maybe you can get with her in chat or something and tell her what's going on. The chat. Well, I'm broadcasting. They can't hear. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I dragged that up. Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh, you mean they can't hear the Zoom? Okay. Let's see. Well, I have my desktop audio on. Um, I don't know why. Yeah. Okay. Well, it'll be recorded for playback anyway, so that's the good news. I can hear him. I can hear him just fine. So we gotta figure out why. Um, no, my audio input capture is working. My video capture device is working. Testing 1, 2, 3. I don't see the desktop audio working. However, I don't know why that would have happened. I haven't changed anything since the last stream. I can turn on the mic aux, but I don't think that's going to do anything. Darko, say testing 1, 2, 3 or something. Can you guys hear that? Do you guys hear Darko speaking right now? Can't hear guest. Can't hear Zoom. Ah, that was before no sound. Okay. Let's go to Zoom and find out. Maybe there's a setting in Zoom why they can't hear you. Okay. Let's see. Okay, that has nothing to do with audio. Let's see. I don't know what's going on. I haven't changed anything since our last stream. Select speaker. Okay. Bear with me, guys. This shouldn't be too hard to figure out, I hope. Everything looks okay in OBS. Okay. Okay, yeah, desktop audio. Properties. Ah. Okay. Say something, Darko, real fast. Testing. Yeah. Can everybody hear Darko now? Maybe not. um. Hmm. Hmm. No, should work. So. We could, but let me just look down here. Nothing should have changed here. You watch, they'll probably say, you've used up all your your guest time or something. Now you have to pay or something like that. You watch. Um, mm, okay. Oh, there's the echo thing. I don't know why this stuff happens. I haven't touched any of this. Yeah, maybe. Uh, yeah, let's see. Okay, yeah, let's try that and see what happens. Okay, let me get out of this. Okay. 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 Okay, we're starting a new session. Automatically join audio by computer when joining. Okay, let's see what happens now. Let me turn my. Okay, JFro, say something and see if people can hear you. Yep, I got you here. Can everybody hear JFro? Okay. Stella, say something. Well, she's not talking. I don't even hear her. Oh, great. Um, why? That's right. That's right, Rochelle. Always tech issues when something. It must be the men in black coming to get us. I don't think so. No, I can hear him fine. Everybody else should hear him fine. Now, I don't see my desktop audio being triggered at all. I think this is the problem, and I don't know why. Let's try put it up there. Um, let's see. Let me go here. I'm looking at everything, guys. Just give me a second. For some reason, audio capture, desktop audio. It shows it turned on. Hmm. No, Darko is not back yet. He's not. He hasn't come in. I can't invite him in. I'm just trying to figure out why everybody in the audience cannot hear you guys from the Zoom session. There has to be a reason. Now, let me try to add an audio. Add existing desktop audio. Okay. Say something, Stella. Stella, say something. Or Jafro, say something. No, that doesn't. That doesn't seem to. You just gotta laugh, because. Okay.
I wonder if Darko could come on through Messenger, like Honey did.
Oh, wait, there's the desktop audio. Testing 1, 2. Say something, Jafro.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay,
7.
guys, can you all in the audience hear that? You should be able to.
Did we fix it?
I didn't do anything. I don't know, but I see desktop audio working now.
Oh, well, somebody intervened for us. Oh, hey, awesome. Woo!
Somebody, they say okay?
Yep.
I didn't do anything. I just...
We'll take it.
Oh my God. Darko, where did you go? Come back in. This is crazy.
Whew.
Yeah, I swear. So we weren't meant to hear Darko's last words for some reason. But we're going to get him back on one way or the other. Well, I hope the volcano didn't blow.
Oh, no. 111?
It is 111, isn't it? Happy 111 minute, Victoria.
Happy birthday to your daughter, Victoria.
That's right. It is your daughter's birthday. All right, that's great. Yeah, I don't see Darko here yet. Stella, how in the heck are you? How is Italy today? Oh no, Stella, your microphone's off. Okay, I asked her to unmute. Let's see what happens.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, there you
Hi,
are.
everybody. I'm
There
good, thank you.
Yeah.
Buongiorno, buonasera.
Buongiorno. That's awesome. So, have you done any past
No,
life
my
regressions?
microphone is.
Oh, you need to mute your
My
speakers
microphone is on.
on YouTube. Now you need to mute YouTube.
Hi, Mark. Hi, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, see,
Buongiorno.
you're echoing. That's awesome. So, have you done it? Did you figure it out? So, oh, there you go. I think you got it. There you go. I think we're okay now. So, Stella, while we're waiting for Darko to come back, tell us a little story about your week or about anything you want to tell us.
Hi, guys. Hold on. I was just having a cup of tea.
A cup of tea? A cuppa?
I was just having a cup of tea there and a piece of cake.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
lovely.
Take your time.
Fun thing, eh?
Have a bite for me too. I
Mark,
haven't
you're
eat-
going to have to just speak up a little bit for me because
Oh, that's right.
I
You're
think I'm
getting
getting a little
old.
bit deaf. Do you remember?
I remember you're getting old, but you still look like you're in your 30s.
I'm finding it very hard to hear you.
I know. I'm talking as close to the microphone as I can.
Let me see if I can. Ooh. Okay. Hmm.
I know it's always you. It's always you, Stella. Victoria, I'm so happy to see you in the chat. That's awesome. Oh, we also we had one more person that I had never seen or talked to before that was in our chat, and she's missing as well. Let me see. Uh, Let me see if I can open Messenger. And
Okay, I'm here, Mark.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good. I can hear you now. Can everybody
Perfect.
else hear me okay?
Perfect.
I can hear you.
Cool. Hello, everybody. I cannot hear Mark.
You can't. I'm not talking.
Oh, okay.
I need to find Darko. Can you hear me okay, though? You said you had a hard time hearing me.
I can hear you good.
Okay. Perfect. And there's no echo anymore, so that's good. Okay. Let me just... I'm messaging Darko, so... Okay. Fix the issue. Come back. Oh, shit. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. There we go. Yeah, I sent him a message. So Stella, what's been going on with you? Have you done any past life regressions lately? Stella? Oh, he muted. I don't know why that happens. Sorry, guys. Sorry for all this.
Hello.
Yeah, there you are. You're back. Uh-oh, now we have a echo again. I don't know why that happens.
To mute you too.
Stella, can you hear me?
I can. I'm
Okay,
here.
so tell...
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yes, sorry. I dropped the phone.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, somebody's trying to sabotage us today. That's okay.
They are. They are. Okay, I can hear you now, guys.
Woo!
Okay, so tell us what's been going on with you. Have you done any past life regressions or anything exciting like that this week?
No, I haven't done any past life regressions, but I would like to do you first
Uh-oh.
and Jeffrey as well.
Oh,
Wow, that'd be awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, turns out that Linda with a Y, Linda Lou, she's been kind of regressing me too, in a different kind of way
Oh, cool.
than you would. But I would like you to do what you do to me for sure.
Yeah, well, whenever you're ready,
Yeah.
I'd really like to do that. So for anybody listening, I studied in a hypnotherapy technique, and I started a hypnotherapy business, but it didn't really work out for me. And I wasn't really, really strongly attracted to doing hypnosis. But when I did the past life regression, I really loved it and found that I had a knack for it. But for some reason, I just didn't pursue it and I just went off in another direction. And
Well, that's because
coming
you have a
to,
beautiful voice, very soothing voice. I could listen to you talk all day long
oh, thank you.
by the fireplace,
So,
preferably.
so yes, of course. So what happened, sort of connecting, synchronizing with yourself and synchronizing with this group, I'm kind of like, oh, I think I need to do that past life regression now. It's like being
Mm.
like a billiard board on the table, isn't it? And you're sort of being hit by the another ball and it's sending you off in another direction. And that's kind of how I feel coming into this group,
Mm. Yeah, nice.
like a new direction.
Yeah. So we've altered your state a little bit.
You've altered my path. You've altered my path,
Uh-oh.
like shifted paths. And I do feel by connecting with this group that I'm going through a new spiritual awakening. And I'm sure everybody else kind of feels that as
I think
well.
that's safe to say. Yep.
Yeah, but like many people, I've been on a really long spiritual journey for the last 20 odd years. And I got to a point where I just wasn't hearing anything new or nothing was really exciting me or anything like that. And now suddenly, this is very exciting for me. And I'm beginning to hear new
Mm-hmm.
things, either
Mm.
through yourself or through other people who have other information and things like that. So that's really, really exciting for me. Like, I've waited
Yeah.
20 years to hear something new and here it is, sort of thing, which is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I always wanted to create a one-stop shop for everything paranormal and supernatural, whatever. And that was the whole purpose of this channel, I thought. Well, one of the purposes. I also wanted to help people remember who they really are inside. And I thought teaching ancient languages was going to be that thing that did it. But that's not the only thing that God had planned for us. Obviously, there was another whole thing I didn't see coming, which is sort of
Exactly.
it's evolving really quickly, really fast, and I'm just along for the ride like all of you are right now. We're just
Exactly.
we're going with the flow.
Could I just mention a couple of the new things that I've heard,
Yes.
which I'm sure a lot of the people in our group have already heard, but just for anyone
Yeah.
who comes across this video and
Absolutely.
hasn't heard it. Okay, so one of the things that I heard was through the Jeff Mara podcast and through this group was about the cities in the sky. And I literally had never heard of them at
Mm.
all for the last 25 years. And I just got so excited about that. And I so want to see them and I can't see them. Although I do see some glitches in the matrix from time to time, but I've never seen them. And that just sends me into a state of excitement that they're actually there.
Well, I think you're in luck.
Mm.
Maybe our sister Rochelle will come in here in the Zoom session and tell us more about that if we have time today.
Oh, and Darko's back. Hi, Darko.
Darko's back. Yes.
Hi.
Well, I can dip out now and let Darko finish, and
Okay.
then I can come back.
Perfect.
Please.
Okay.
Darko,
Thank
welcome
you,
back.
sir.
Thank you.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
you hear me now?
yeah, everybody can hear you now. I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything different. I just, toggled a few things, and I don't know what happened. But
Well,
it's
thanks,
also,
St. Anthony.
it's almost like things you weren't meant to say something at that time or something. I don't know what happened.
That seems like a classic.
I know, right? It always happens that way. It's so funny. Oh, Rochelle, real quick, Darko, give me a second. Rochelle,
Sure.
maybe you can come in and tell us more about cities in the sky. I know you know about that because you see the sky. You see things that we can't see. And Stella, come on Zoom is what I mean. I know you're in the stream, but if you could come on Zoom maybe at the end and tell us more about what you see in the sky, cities in particular, because I'm pretty sure you mentioned that on the Jeff Meyer podcast during your interview. That'd be awesome. So anyway, Darko, where were we? You were saying that you were coming to America possibly next. Do you have any special places in mind? So right off the bat.
Well, I have one brother in North Carolina that I would love to visit.
That's where I was born.
All right.
I was born there. Actually, I was born there 54 years ago. This next Friday.
Oh, all right.
It was a snowy morning at 5:25 apparently, but I don't remember that morning yet.
Yet.
Yeah,
exactly.
I will remember it. I have a feeling we'll all remember after we find out how to use our energy and our DNA, and that's something I've really been interested in because I think the Akashic records are in all of us. They're already in us. Or at least,
for sure.
Or
Accessible to all of us.
a copy of it. Yeah, real time somehow. That's amazes me. What scientists call junk DNA, that's actually probably the Akashic records.
Right.
Okay, let him talk.
So yeah, it's North Carolina. So you have somebody in North Carolina. Is there any time frame you're looking at right now to do that?
I'm not exactly. I'm not sure yet, but I feel I'm probably gonna wait until it's a bit warmer, and so I've been living without winter for 8 years now. So
Wow.
I'm like, no, I don't need the cold.
Now you mentioned that you had skin issues since you were a kid. Did Guatemala cure you of all that?
No, I'm like back then the diagnosis was hypersensitivity, and hypersensitivity in a toxic world is rather challenging. And at the same time, it's balanced. Like it's not like I'm really bad. My skin is pretty good. But I feel like on my hands I have psoriasis, and I can feel especially the agrochemicals that are using here in Guatemala. They're spraying a lot, and so whenever it's tomato season and they spray next to the land where I'm staying, then it breaks out again.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, what kinds of things do they grow in your area besides tomatoes?
Oh, a lot of stuff. Like anything grows in Guatemala.
Wow.
It's in eternal spring land, so yeah, they can grow anything here. And because we're right between the volcanoes, the soil is rather fertile, and so they're growing year round. It's always something growing.
Yeah, I noticed on your Dragon of Luck channel that I see the volcano behind you in the video, and I wonder if you ever. When's the last time those volcanoes have erupted? Are they all dormant or?
No, they're like one is active. The one that you saw is the oldest and is the least active, or like it's not active anymore. But another one, Atitlan, that also gives the name to the lake, is apparently still active, and it hasn't erupted in like 180 years or something.
Oh,
and
wow.
So yeah, it's a powder keg. You never know. I enjoy living in a volcano. It's great. I love the contrast.
Yeah, I used to live in Hawaii for 4 years, and
right.
we we had eruptions every day on the Big Island, just about. But where I lived on Oahu, all of our volcanoes were extinct there, like Diamond Head, and I think it's just only a matter.
He had stories to share about experiences.
But yeah, so tell us more about some of the experiences you would like to share with us.
Sure. So I would like to start with when I was 8 years old. I was walking over the schoolyard, and I suddenly had this really strong inner voice speaking to me, and it told me that in this lifetime everything is going to change, and I felt the significance of it. And since then, I've been very attentive to what is happening around me, and then I had an experience when I was 20. I was working in an aluminium factory about like 200 meters behind the house, just over a field.
Wow.
And I would only do night shifts to make more money so I could go travel. And at that time, I was contemplating the concept of gods. So that there's been all these different entities that people have worshipped. And I was wondering, what is the relation between the worshipper and the god? And because if there's no one worshiping a god, the god doesn't have any influence upon this realm. So I opened the door. It's like 2:30 in the morning, and it's pouring down. It's so much rain, and suddenly my inner voice, like an inspiration, kicked in and was like, "Well, experiment with what you are contemplating." And so I was like, "Well, to all the weather gods out there that ever existed, can you please do me a favor and get me to work dry?" And I finished the thought, and in that moment, it just stops raining.
Wow.
Like, oh wow, okay, that's an incredible timing. And I stepped outside, and I'm like in front of the house, and I have second thoughts. I have like, oh well, if I'm walking and it starts raining, then I'll get soaking wet. And so I'm kind of thinking of maybe I go back and just grab the umbrella. And I feel it's almost like a gong that is played inside of me.
Wow.
But the gong is a voice, and the voice says, if you go back to grab an umbrella, we're going to make you so wet like you've never been before. And in that moment, I realized that I'm poo-pooing on the miracle that is unfolding.
Right.
And so I just walk. And I'm walking, and it's dark, so I hear the rain, but within my perception, it's absolutely dry. There's no rain. And I walk all the way to the, these like big doors where they bring in the trucks and stuff, and I walk in, and I literally make one step into the hall, and behind me it starts raining again.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was just
That's
like,
cool
what just happened? What is that? And it took me quite a while to integrate that experience, because it was just too far out in a way. And that kind of kept the magic alive in my life, that if that is true, what else is true? And so I was always very curious about, what is magic? How does it work? What are these principles that are behind it? And so it kind of culminated. Well, I have to go back a little bit, because I was always a very fearful child. Like, my imagination was very strong. So whenever I felt weird, I would be like, oh my God, there's something, I wouldn't like to go into the cellar and stuff like that. It was just a very intense experience. Fear was always a big topic. And it culminated in, when I was here already in Guatemala, I had a business partner who has, I'd say, narcissistic tendencies. And we were fighting about my interpretation of the impulses that come through, like, my conversation with life. And he was trying to influence that. And I had this feeling that I should not let him influence my interpretation of those signs. And because of his narcissistic tendency, he felt that as an attack. And so one day he was just like yelling and screaming at me. He was right in my face. And I claimed the space. I was just like, yo, just step back 2-3 steps. Like, I don't need this. And the 5th time that he stepped back right into my face to yell at me, I pushed him back And I come from 25 years of martial arts, so I know how much to push to not like, throw him over. But that push he interpreted as an attack.
An
And he
act of
walked to the
aggression.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so he walked into the kitchen and he walked back to me with a knife in his hand. And
Whoa.
my heart immediately was like, no, don't worry. He just grabbed the knife to feel safe. He's not going to attack you. But my mind was like, wow, but you don't know.
Your fight or flight
So,
instinct kicked in. Yeah.
right. And so my mind was like, okay, you have to make the decision what you're going to do when he comes into range. Like if he comes to actually stab you, what you're going to do. And I asked my heart, because I was already in this process of being in contact with spirit, and I was already like very clear inside of my connection. And I asked my heart what to do, and my heart asked me, if you were born in this incarnation to die by the hand of your best friend to teach him a lesson, would you? And I was like, yes.
That's an interesting question to ask yourself.
Right?
In that kind of moment, yes.
Exactly. And it was super slow motion. He's just still walking towards me. And I'm like, well, if this is the purpose of my life, then yes, I'm ready to die. And I just opened my arms. I'd made the decision not to defend myself, not to do anything. And in that moment, it became blurry, and I saw him put down the knife to then, in the next moment, experience him actually stab me. I could feel the knife in my belly, and I died. And the moment that I died, I was stabbed again and again and again and again. And there was always these like slight variations of my death.
Wow.
Until after like a dozen of death experiences, I suddenly found myself standing there still open and ready to receive the blow. And
that kind of confirms something to me. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. And so there were like two things that happened in that moment. The one thing was I totally lost fear. I totally understood that I am something that will always continue within my own experience. And I also realized that what I just experienced were all the timelines where I did die.
Wow.
All the timelines where I didn't make it within this realm. And yeah, that was a very, very, very powerful experience for me.
Ooh.
I obviously, like 3 days later, he flipped out again, and I had a machete on my throat, and I was like, okay,
wow.
I understand the language. The knife is getting bigger. It's time for me to leave. And
right.
and that's when I stepped out of that relationship. Excuse me. And that's when it really started for me. Like the mystical experiences just multiplied by 1,000. And
yes.
and
I know how that feels too.
Right. It felt like I stepped out of my nest. I was so deep in service towards him and what we were trying to accomplish to change the world, basically, that I totally forgot myself, and I didn't have healthy boundaries. And so when I stepped out of that situation, I had a very clear sense of healthy boundaries that are necessary to operate within this realm in combination with the unconditional love of the spirit that I am. So that was a really, really strong experience that I had.
Oh my gosh.
Now, how old were you when that happened?
I was 38. That was quite recent. That was like 4 years ago.
Okay. So, wow. Yeah, that's the exact same age I became sick.
Interesting.
As well.
Yes.
That was.
And I felt.
Yeah.
And I felt that the sickness, because, like I said before, I had a life-saving operation when I was 3 weeks old. So I started my life with starving, basically, because the muscle that closes my stomach was too strong. So only 10% of the mother's milk I swallowed actually arrived in the stomach, and the rest I puked out.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And my mom was 20 when she had me. So when she went to the doctor, the doctors were like, well, that's normal, baby spit. And so she thought it was normal. And 3 weeks later, it became apparent that I'm on the brink of death. And so I was in intense care for about 3 weeks. And after that, I had all these allergies, and I basically grew up with rice and just a couple of vegetables
Oh wow.
that I could eat. And for many, many years, I tried to figure out why is that happening, or why did that happen? Huh. There you go.
Oh, is
Um,
that a butterfly or a moth?
no, that is a, a seed.
Oh, a seed.
It's just,
Oh, like a. Oh wow,
yeah,
that's a
it
neat
just
little
came.
seed.
It just came to say
Wow.
hello, and
That's cool.
and I
That's
yeah, absolutely,
that's
yeah,
like a confirmation right there.
exactly. And so I was always wondering, why have I been so sick, and why is it so challenging in my life? And until the decades later, I realized that those are timing codes that hold back a certain amount of power
Mm.
that needs to emerge in the right timing. Because obviously, if I have the power to manifest with as a teenager, I'm probably gonna, you know, to follow the wrong choices because I'm just in my desire body so strong. So that when it actually opened up, I was calm and balanced enough to understand the power that I carry, so that I can actually use it for what I came for.
And so, what do you think is your major life path that you came here for, or have you figured that out yet?
Yes, I'm well, it's still unfolding, but I have received a lot of information from various tuned in people channels and so on, because here at the lake there is like a convergence of a lot of spiritual people, and so I
Oh,
met a lot of very interesting people that had a lot to say, and I basically received the information that, like, I have a favor with God and man, and I will be channeling source for governments and corporations, and I'll be teaching at universities, and I'll
really?
bring all continents back into the light. And that was just so crazy, because it was my biggest fear and my biggest wish combined in one thing. Because who am I to talk to anyone and tell them how things have to be? And at the same time, it was my deepest wish. I want to see this world in a better place. Like my main mm, mm, what is the word, like idea of what I'm here to do is to inspire people to live in a different way, to live in, according to natural law, and to
Yeah,
basically what we are doing right now, that
yeah,
no matter where I go, no matter who I meet, that I always am able to connect on this level.
yeah.
And that's been the dream. And it's interesting, or that was the prophecy that I received. And it was interesting because 2.5 years later, a totally different channel that I just met on Facebook, like, she wrote something that helped me, and I just wrote her back like, thank you so much. And she was like, hey, I feel a transmission is coming through, are you willing to receive it? I'm like, yeah, of course. I'll treat it as any oracle, which is, that's what I need to hear right now, not as the truth.
Right.
And she started with, well, you have favor with God and man,
Wow.
and basically said the same thing, but with more detail. And
Mm.
and a part of that was, the next couple of years will be very hard for you, because no one will actually understand what you are doing. But then you will start working with the right people, and you will prove that what your approach will actually work. And therefore, then everyone
Mm.
will want to work with you, because it's shown that it works. And I'm kind of still waiting for that. So I am
Wow.
doing my best to be patient and inspire everyone around me. And I have a lot of people that I'm very, very strongly connected, like a lot of soul family that is around me. And that's what I'm doing. I'm holding down that one channel of balance that always comes back to basically mirror to people how powerful they are,
Mm.
and how beautiful this experience actually is, and how meaningful it is, and how important the little things are, and how much power there is in those little things, to
It's
help them
amazing.
change their belief systems towards a more aligned path, basically. And that's the main service that I'm offering, like the
It's
golden mirror, I call it, where I just, like, what do you want to talk about? Just
the
bring it
golden
on.
mirror. That's awesome. We have just about a minute and a half left in this Zoom window. I'm sorry to interrupt.
All right. Thank you for the information.
Yeah, Darko, we're going to switch to somebody else, but thank you for coming and sharing that story. And please come on and share another story with us. I know you have millions. So whenever you whenever you feel like in your heart that it's time to share another story, just come on in and share. That's awesome.
I will do that.
I got a lot from that, from what you said.
The golden mirror.
Thank you so much.
The golden mirror. I like that. But so maybe when you could come in and chat with us in the group too sometime when you have some downtime outside of nature.
Right. I will do my best to be more active within
that'd be
the
awesome.
group. Yes.
Yeah. Come and share your wisdom there too, because that's what we meet all hours of the day and night there. So
that's right.
Good.
Perfect.
But
thank you all so much.
I love you, brother.
Thank you, Darko.
So much love, family, and tune in soon.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye
bye.
Yeah, auf Wiedersehen. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna start a new Zoom window here.
Yes, please do. All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Ciao.
All right. I really like Darko. He's awesome. That's the first time we've ever really chatted in length so far. So that's really awesome. Okay. It looks like I'm in, or am I? Yeah. Okay. All right, Jayfer, you're in. Alvery. Darko's a rock star. I agree. Adrian from Canterbury, UK. Welcome. It's good to see you. Eduardo, it's so good to see you. Last time you said you had family time, so I'm glad you were able to come in today, or tonight, your time. Okay. Rochelle. Hello, Rochelle. I saw you were having technical problems. Did you get them all fixed? Rochelle?
Hello.
Hello. Did you get all your technical issues fixed?
Yes, it seems like I always have technical issues. I don't know if it's the glitch in the matrix.
Glitch in the matrix, right? The black cat.
Yeah.
Now, okay, stand by. Oh, maybe Stella will give you the floor to talk about cities in the sky. Stella, ask Rochelle that question you wanted to know about more of.
Hi, Rochelle. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Now,
Sorry, I'm just having some really, really bad, difficult technical issues as usual.
Uh-oh. Oh, you know what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Stella
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, cool.
I want to make sure that I have the right window open. There. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, so Stella, do you recognize Rochelle? She have you ever seen her interview on the Jeff Maher podcast before?
I don't think I have, actually, no. But Rochelle, one of the things that I've never heard about, like in my spiritual journey for like 20 odd years, is the cities in the sky. And I was just so excited to hear about that. So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I've been listening to like a lot of NDEs since my one, and I haven't really came across anyone that speaks about the three-dimensional earth plane that we live in and how we are connected to it. It's always, if you come back from an NDE, it's always maybe you're a psychic medium or angels or like nothing from this dimension, which was kind of bizarre. And I thought, like, is there anyone out there, that's speaking about the 3D. Like, and I felt like this is my purpose, like just to connect us to this place also, because we are here, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Hello?
Stella?
Hi, I'm still here, Rochelle. I'm just listening
Hi.
with my
Oh,
mic muted so I don't interrupt you.
oh no, that's fine. Yeah, so sorry, what was the question? What would you like to know?
I don't really have a question. I'm just absolutely fascinated about these
Mhm.
cities in the skies and just any information. If the listeners would
Oh,
like
yeah.
to hear about it, about these
Yeah.
cities.
Oh, it's not actually like many cities. I think also on my YouTube channel, I do discuss, some historical events that described when the sky glitched. Um, so yeah, what I see at the moment is just one big interconnected, um, I would say city, but I always tell everyone that there's nothing to compare to. I can't compare to anything of this world. I've never seen it before. So it's difficult to say, hey, this looks like a
Right.
metal object, or this looks like, I can't describe it.
I know exactly what you're talking
Um,
about. You can't explain
yeah,
things that we all see after or during our NDE or even after when we're processing it all. There's some things we just don't have
hmm
words for, like different colors that our eyes can't process.
absolutely.
There's no way to say, well,
Yeah,
this looks like orange or red. It's just totally different. Like how do
exactly.
we don't have words for a lot of these things. And
Yeah.
why? And my other question is, why can't our bodies see those things or experience those things? Are those upgrades
Yeah.
that are coming in the future? Maybe.
I
You
do,
know.
yeah. I think we'll be seeing more and more um objects, or like I said, I don't know what to call it. I just call it the city in the sky because it's lights. But yeah, I think we'll be able to see it more and more as this dimension changes, because it is obviously changing. So I
Mm.
think we're going to be seeing, like they always say, like, the veil is thinning, which I absolutely believe. Like, yeah, we'll start seeing it more and more, whether it's a little, what do they call it? An orb, or because lately they've been shooting down orbs, so it could be
Mm.
from the city in the sky as well. So yeah, we'll be seeing more and more stuff. It won't be just like subjected to certain people. But I mean, since my NDE, it's just this has been, my, I wouldn't, yeah, like you said, a superpower, like being able to see whatever it is in the sky.
Mm. You're gonna be
But yeah,
you're gonna come in very handy when we start opening these portals and stuff, because we're gonna
or when
need
everyone starts
you
freaking out.
to. Yeah, I'm trying to prepare everybody because I can see it coming.
Oh yeah.
I can see all this coming into fruition, and I get confirmations every minute. It seems like about what's coming and about what we're doing. Like for instance,
hmm
that giant door that's in Machu Picchu on the side of a.
hmm
It looks like it's a door, but it's stone, right?
Yeah.
Um, Several of us have had dreams of that door being opened. Um, and
hmm
I've always thought that in my soul whenever I first saw it, but now as we are all coming together, it's becoming more and more amplified that we're going to open that door and other things. Just imagine if once we
Yeah.
learn who we all are and how all the puzzle pieces fit, what can we do at Stonehenge? What can we do at Baalbek? What can we do on Easter Island? That kind of thing. So I've been
Yeah.
telling everybody to get their passports ready, but some have said we won't need passports because we can travel interdimensionally on this
hmm
planet, even to do some of these things. So I
Absolutely.
don't know how it's all going to play out. I just know that something big is bigger than us that we've all come here to do, and it's starting to unfold pretty quickly, it seems. And
hmm
I'm trying to prepare everybody as best I can with all the stuff I see from my vantage point. And I'm
Yeah,
so
okay.
happy you're part of our team now. You have no idea. Like when you joined the group, I was like, oh my god, now we truly are a dream team. That's how I felt because I hold you in high regard in my soul.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know. And I had never seen your interview when I had my interview with Jeff, and just the way I met him and found all you guys is just incredible. So, does anybody have any questions
Absolutely.
about cities in the sky or the matrix in the sky for Rochelle while she's on that subject in the chat? Stella, do you have any
The
questions that have
thing I
popped
could
up?
add,
I have a question, yeah. So, when I was having a psychedelic experience, I also saw cities with that experience, but the cities were made of a fabric that I couldn't really describe. It was between like an animal, a plant, and machinery, and it was living. It was a living sort of material. And I saw cities made of that, and they were constantly moving, like, you know, like how a bird's wing would open. You know, the cities would kind of open like that, or a building would open like that. So they weren't made of any material here, but a combination of materials. But I could see humans living inside that city. Is that
mm,
sort of like anything like what you've seen?
um, well, not really. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't understand what you saw. But like for me, if I had to describe it, it's I think I spoke to Kaz, she's in the in the chat as well. I spoke to Kaz and I said there's kind of layers to the city. So like you would see these stars that some of them look quite close and some of them look quite far off. And for me, I just see it like, well, that's exactly what it is, just levels. It just looks like the next level of the city. And especially at nighttime when there's like no sun that's reflecting, um, yeah, it just looks like one big solid structure all interconnected. And you're absolutely right. Like the movement, it has a certain movement to it. It's like a hovering kind of up and down, and then also a little bit side to side, almost like this big spaceship that's just hovering. And
Hmm.
also one of the questions I see in the chat is like, who lives like, who's in these cities? And I think I can connect my answer to Mark's one comment he made about being able to see it. You have to have a certain vibration to see them. I know that when I'm very low vibe,
Mm.
I won't be able to see them as much. So what I do is like I open up my heart chakra and I just get into this high vibe with love in my heart, and I just see all sorts of stuff in the sky. It's like really awesome. Um, so yeah, that's one way to look at it. And then also the movement is like the hovering, one big city that kind of hovers. And who I think is um, in these structures, they have been here since the beginning of time. We just couldn't see them. And I think I came across a few words. They call the watchers.
Mm.
Some people call them the watchers. They just part of. I think they help with how we perceive our reality. They're like kind of part of creating this 3D dimension. So without them in the sky, I don't think this 3D dimension will actually work. It's almost like they're construction workers, but they don't intervene. Um, and I'm starting to get, I think since I've been talking about them, I've been starting to get some communication from them, which is which is quite bizarre because every time I step out, and I ask these questions and I just get this immediate and it's a physical feeling actually. I'm just trying to translate it into words, and at the moment I can't do that. So yeah, I think these are the watches that's always been here. Um, yeah, that's as much as I know so far.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's crazy. I
Could
think for a
I?
while it's like I never wanted to step out and, to see them because I was so afraid the first time I saw it. I was like, what the heck, And I just didn't want to step outside like at all at night. I thought they were, out to get us, but they're not. They literally just this neutral beings.
Could I add?
Yeah.
Could I add? I don't know if you've heard of this, Rochelle or Mark or anybody that's listening. It was by the guy called Quantum Businessman. I don't know if anybody knows him, but he sort of concluded, he never mentioned cities in the sky, but he kind of said that he felt that this planet, whatever we're on, whether it's flat or round or a dimensional reality, whatever it is surrounded by a spaceship. We're in the middle of a spaceship. I thought that was quite interesting.
That's pretty interesting, actually. I don't really have much to say on that. Like, I wouldn't know where we are, but a lot of, I think my first question I would ask them is like, is the world like flat or round? That would be like one of my first questions. But at the moment, I'm leaning, like, I'm not a flat earther as in the way, they box themselves, as a flat earther, but I do
exactly
believe this is not, like, I don't believe this is a round sphere, but it is it's not a round ball, but it is spherical, if you know what I'm saying. Does that make sense? No.
No, I think that's great. I am actually a flat earther.
Okay.
I watched a couple of one of my friends is one of the sort of leading flat earthers, and
Wow.
I just find it a fascinating concept, but my mind is open. If it's not a flat earth, it's something else, then I'm open to take that on as well. But there's a guy also, I think his name's Martin Kenny or Kenny Martin, who did the quantum egg theory, and he was a flat earther, and he said there was massive land masses beyond the North and South Pole. Yeah, one of the poles, I can't remember, where there's different animals, there's different species, there's different beings, and these land masses go on for thousands of miles. We don't really know how far, and he supposes that the government actually already knows this.
Oh yeah, that sounds pretty accurate to me though, because I did get kind of like an answer from these beings, or the watchers, and they definitely they're definitely leaning towards like this is not a sphere. This is not what we think it is. So yeah, it's definitely a plane, but it's in an environment that we'd never be able to understand. Some actually say it's like toroidal, like you have the toroidal fields, if you know what I mean. So like energy going from north to south, but it's actually we in the plane of this toroidal field. Yeah.
Yeah. I went down this flat Earth path a while back, and it was so splintered back around 2015, 16. And then, of course, I was in a coma shortly after that. So I never really had a final answer. The jury's still kind of out on a lot of that for me, but it's definitely something I've wanted to further scientifically explore. For instance, the sun being the same size as the moon. I've always thought that all my life. Yeah, I didn't need to hear a flat Earth theory about that. What's some other things that really... so another thing that I always wondered is why commercial airliners don't fly over the poles in some cases. Why do they fly like 3,000 or 4,000 miles out of the way when they can just go across the South Pole or the North Pole? That is something that always got my attention about these flat earthers, and the horizon. Being able to see further than you're supposed to on the horizon. I think that's pretty interesting too. I've always wondered about that myself. And also, a lot of flat earthers have problems with astronauts. You know, they see the videos that are edited where 1 minute they're wearing a red watch and the next second they're wearing a black watch. So you can tell it's edited and it's not live when they say it's live. Things like that. I've always known that about NASA. I have my own doubts about man stepping foot on the moon. And did you guys see this last orbiter, this lunar orbiter, this Artemis project? Did you see the pictures that it was producing of the moon?
No, I haven't seen it.
You got to go look at it. I mean, it's like we're going backwards in technology or something, because what you see with your telescope is like 1 million times better than these images that they're producing of the moon with this mission.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is going on here? Something is wrong. Like, somebody's not telling the truth about what's going on right now. And I haven't even done it. I haven't had time to go down these rabbit holes because I'm trying to build the foundation for this family coming together. But eventually we're going to get to this subject for sure. Like, there's so much to learn and figure out about all this. But I think, I really think when we start astral projecting a lot, we're going to find out the answers to a lot of these things. Once we learn how to control where we go, and you know, I know there's so many beings and different planets and galaxies we can travel to that have answers they can give us every day, every night, while our bodies are sleeping. And that's where I want to get I want to get to the point where we can just go and get answers whenever we need them about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And,
I just wanted to add, Kaz in the chat was like, she said I have to mention the Centilli telescope. I'm not sure if you've checked my YouTube channel out, but I have a whole video talking about the telescope. And it's this Italian astrophysicist, I think it is. And he designed a specific telescope to look at antimatter, which is so pretty cool. And this has been kept from us. We don't even know about this telescope. So he actually recorded what I see, not exactly, but very similar, like the way they move, what's in, and he said the exact same thing. He was like, well, there's something in our sky watching us, and he can prove it with a telescope. So that's pretty cool. Just wanted to mention. Sorry.
Yeah, no, myself and others have already posted your link to your channel in the chat. I'm also going to post a link in the post-production description as well as our group too. And feel free to post, plug your channel in the group too. I don't have a problem with that.
Thanks.
We all have to share information. We all, even though we have our own separate channels, that doesn't mean we can't collaborate together. That's what it's all about. I think it's cool because you can bring in some of our family via your channel and vice versa. Some of our family can subscribe to you, and we could just keep learning. We can the more people we have that are like-minded, that belong here, are going to find us eventually. So I think it's good. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even seen all your content yet.
I actually wanted to mention your... Sorry?
Oh, go ahead. I was finished.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say, just switching gears to the astral projection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tried your method, when you close your eyes and...
Mm-hmm. So
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah. I hear. I think maybe you might be breaking up, but it doesn't sound like you're breaking up. But
oh gosh. Okay.
No, but you sound you sound intact now. Anyway.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So I tried the astral projection because, I'm really, trying to get into that. And I watched your one video, and it said, fear is the biggest obstacle.
It is. Hands down. So how? Yeah, tell me how your attempts have gone so far. How many times have you tried?
This is I've had an out of body experience before. I actually got on my body, and it's so weird. I climbed into another being's body, almost like I was getting into a jumpsuit of some sort,
Ah,
and yeah, it was pretty cool. And I zipped myself up, and when I looked at my arms, it was this long, thin arms, and I was like, wow, this is crazy.
I've had the
And when I
same
looked
experience.
outside, oh wow, yeah.
We'll have to compare notes sometime. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Like you say, I got goosebumps because I've done this
Mm,
same thing before. Yeah, we have
okay.
there. From my experience, we have there's planets we're living on right now, in different galaxies even, and in our mountain. Just think, our sun is a
Hmm.
little speck of billions of stars just in our galaxy alone, and just look at how many
Yeah,
galaxies are out there. So the thought that there's no
absolutely.
life on these other galaxies and stuff is preposterous to me. There has to be,
Yeah,
and why Earth was chosen um, to terraform or whatever, is obvious. We're in the Goldilocks zone, and but there's other
hmm
planets that have other Goldilocks zones, and um,
hmm
it's all coming full circle to me now. All these visions I've seen that came out of nowhere or downloaded, I guess we call it nowadays. I've
hmm
had these all my life. I just didn't know what they were until now.
Yeah,
Now I see like there are planets that look almost like ours, just a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. And
yeah.
also another thing that's interesting is that nobody seems to talk about a lot is the Earth expansion theory. You guys talk about the flat Earth
Hmm.
theory, but I'm convinced. I'm not so convinced it's a flat Earth, but if you, I've seen computer simulations firsthand, real time, that shows how Pangea, we were once Pangea, and the Earth actually expanded like a balloon, like you were blowing up a balloon. And if you do that, it all the pieces that broke
Hmm.
apart, they twisted and kind of floated apart, but they all
Yeah,
everything was in one piece of land eventually. And I've seen planets like that in visions I've had where the same thing happened to these other planets. I don't know how it works
yeah,
exactly, um,
yeah.
but
So wait, what happened in the jumpsuit? I want to hear what happened in the jumpsuit with the long, skinny arms.
okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Should I carry on?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I got into
Schaefer.
yes, I got out of my body. It was the first time that I've ever got out of my body since my NDE. So it was pretty scary at first. Um, and I got into this jumpsuit and I realized it was a being. And it felt like I was zipping up the suit. And I looked down and my arms were this long, long, skinny, gray
Mm.
arms. And I felt incredibly tall and skinny and just, yeah. And, and,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting and I looked outside and I realized I was in a spaceship. And in the spaceship was a semicircular bench, which is quite bizarre because I've never seen the inside of a ship. So I was sitting on the semicircular bench, and there was two beings next to me, and they didn't notice what was happening. And I looked outside, and I saw this red red planet, and it was very mechanical. It almost looked like a huge mechanical wheel spinning, and I just zoomed up and we zoomed to the side, and I think I got such I think that speed kind of just jolted me back into my body, and I was so angry because I wanted to know like where were we going, and it so happened that my daughter also walked into the room, and I was so frustrated because I wanted to go back into this this body. So I went back into meditation, and I realized I could go back into this being's body. But every time I tried to zip up the suit, my daughter would walk in the room, and then I would be snapped back into my body. And I just like I got so frustrated, and that was my first out of body experience, and it
Wow.
was pretty cool. But since then, seeing whatever I see in the sky, I always have a feeling that if I leave my body, I'm going to the city in the sky. It's almost like a calling, which I'm kind of scared to do, to be honest. Like I might just land up in the city, and I don't know what's up there. So there's fear. And then I think I told Mark in this week when I think it was my third attempt to astral project, and I got all the music going, and when I finally did get into a space, I heard this clear voice just say to me, Rohan. And I was like, what? You know, and they said, no, Rohan. And I said, oh, okay. And they said, no, you have to say it properly, Rohan. And you have to say it like Rohan, something like that, like a weird pronunciation to it. And that was the only message I got. And I didn't know what it meant. But when I Googled it, it actually means enlightenment and ascending, which is which is pretty cool, to be honest. Like, wow, this is my first experience just, you know, being out there, but just getting messages. So yeah, I think I will definitely stick to your method. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. We're definitely gonna discuss the suits more in the future, because here on Earth we breathe not just oxygen, we breathe nitrogen and other helium and other gases. When they say we breathe oxygen, that's just one of the main things we breathe, but there's other things we breathe. And on other planets, we breathe methane just like we breathe oxygen. It just depends on our suits, our biological suits. Our suits are tailored for our environment we're in. So just like astronauts put on a suit to travel outside in space, it's no different for our souls, our spirits. So yeah, it's very interesting, and why we need spaceships in the first place. But I guess that's a whole other ball of wax. You know, why even have spaceships when we don't really need them when we travel in the spirit form? But only if you're my only thing I can come up with is we need spaceships if you're carrying any kind of cargo. You need some kind of transport that's physical if you want to transport something else that's physical.
I think you can also, somebody was saying you can put your mind into I think it was those alien interviews that you just were talking about. You can put your mind into the suit. You don't actually have to climb in physically. And your body just stays like an astral projection. You just stay in your actual world or your actual home planet, and then you take off in this spaceship with a suit that you're incarnating like telepathically or something.
Right. Yeah, and I need to share that with the rest of the group. I only shared that with a few of you, but it's basically their interview. This lady was one of the nurses, the flight nurses, when the whole Roswell, New Mexico thing happened. She claims that she was a nurse that was assigned to take vital signs from the only survivor of that crash in some hangar somewhere. Probably not Area 51 like the movies say. There's plenty of sites that are way more secret than Area 51. But anyway, I digress. So this lady talked telepathically to this alien, and she recorded everything she talked about with this alien, and that's what J-Fro is referring to. So I'll share that link in our group for anybody who's interested in reading that, because it gives you kind of an idea of other possibilities that we're not taught.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I experienced a lot of what the alien said to her in my NDE, so I can verify a lot of what this alien being said. And he calls us Isbies, those of us that are incarnated into human bodies. He calls us Isbies, ISBE. So it's very, very interesting. So, Stella, how Stella got her groove back. Tell us an experience you've had in your life that you think would help inspire a lot of people.
And just before you get started, I want to give a 7-minute warning.
Actually, let's go ahead and start a new
Okay.
session, okay? So Stella and Rochelle, please come back
Yeah.
in, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, we just don't have a license for Zoom yet. I hate that they restrict us to 40 minutes. I think that's crazy. And it goes by so fast. Okay. Okay, guys, I have the. Here we go. Okay, we're just waiting on Stella now. Okay, oh, there she is. Okay, we got you all back.
Okay. Hi, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, you guys
Okay,
are live.
awesome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
It is.
Yes, it's your turn. I was asking if you could tell us one of your experiences to everybody in the world that might inspire us, that you've experienced in your lifetime. It could be anything. It could be when you were a little girl, or it could be anything. Something that has happened to you you think is part of the bigger picture.
Yeah, gosh, that sounds so enormous undertaking. I, I don't know where to start really.
Got to start
I've had,
somewhere.
yeah, I've had two OBEs and two near-death experiences, so I could
Wow.
talk about.
Okay.
But I was just thinking tonight, I also got a really massive download once about why we're here and what our purpose is. And I'm not going to say that it's a truth, but I got the download. So I don't know if that's of interest to anybody. I don't really mind where I
Well, like
start.
I always say, you don't have to believe anything anybody says. That's not the whole point of this. We're not trying to convince people that we've experienced these things. We know what we've experienced, but certain people are meant to hear certain things, even though maybe something you say doesn't resonate with me. Another family member of ours might say it might be like a eureka moment, you
Yeah.
know, and really. Um, Whether you want to call it the Holy Spirit or Source or whatever you want to call it, we all are inspired to say things that we don't even know we're going to say when we're meant to say it. And only certain people are meant to hear it sometimes, not everybody. So don't ever feel like what you or anybody in the audience that's listening to this, don't think that what you have to say is going to be any less dramatic than any of our other experiences, because we all have these pieces and they all fit together somehow. We have to figure it out, and the only way to figure it out is just to talk to each other.
Sure. Okay. I think that's a really good point. I think the reason that I'm hesitant, because you were talking about trauma before, because when I was a child, I wasn't allowed to have my own thoughts or opinions. So
Oh my goodness.
that makes me, I have a lot to say,
Wow.
but it makes me a little bit nervous. Okay. So I think I will start with the download that I got once about why we're here and what our purpose is, because it's very, very different from what most people think in mainstream. So I'll start there. But I just wanted to quickly say about the flat earth, because I do love anything that is challenging to
Yeah.
understand or perceive. So what I think is really amazing about the flat earth concept is that it obviously challenges our perceptions of our reality. And I think if we want to really
Mm.
delve into what this construct is, I do believe that the flat earth can lead people, and well, I've seen it myself, lead people into powerful spiritual awakening just looking at that information. It just really can sort of crack people open to new concepts and ideas and things like that about this construct. And I think that's what I really, really love about it.
Mm.
So, and also, I guess everybody knows that the flat earth concept is when you flatten out the sphere, the North Pole becomes the middle of the disk, and the South Pole becomes a giant ice wall around the outside of the disk.
Mm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I hope I'm making sense. So, obviously, most people know why you can't fly past the South Pole is because the government's not allowed that. So the idea, if you see it like a disc and you've got this giant ice wall, which is the South Pole on a flat Earth, is that beyond that ice wall is all this land mass and other species, other plants, other animals and everything like that. And I believe that there are beings there that actually originate from there. And when people do have a spiritual awakening through the flat earth, they very much connect with these beings who are a part of the flat earth sort of what can I say, energy or belief structure. Like, so people here actually connect with those beings, and those beings download information as to what this construct is. So I just wanted to pop that out there.
Hmm.
And the other thing is, I can post in the group actually about that. Someone who's had a profound spiritual awakening through studying that. So he was like a chef, I don't know, working in London, and now he's living in Portugal, and he's got his own sort of spiritual tribe, if you want, in Portugal, and it's quite
Oh, yeah,
amazing.
Pinheiro.
Huh?
I think it's called the Pinheiro family or Pinheiro, something with a Pinheiro.
Yes,
I think they're
yes,
in
that's
Portugal.
him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know him from when he started the cosmic egg
Absolutely.
theory? Yeah,
Yes,
that's him.
absolutely. I followed him when he
Yeah.
was still, coming out with Flat Earth, and he was on interviews and everything. And I think he started the Pinheiro family in Portugal. They totally off grid now, like completely.
Really?
Exactly. He's
Yeah.
had such an amazing journey. So it is a fascinating area to dive into. I don't think you have to worry too much about the different fragments of the different groups of people that have these different ideas about the flat earth. I think it's just about challenging your perceptions of this reality and this construct. And the other thing I wanted to say was that, sorry for my lack of knowledge, but that door you were talking about in that mountain, there is an amazing story about a guy that passed through that door by singing a certain note.
Mm-hmm.
And when he resonated at a certain note, he passed through that door.
Right. I have no doubt that that's going to be part of what we do when we open portals. Is we're not only going to be sending energy, we're also going to be creating some kind of note or sound. I really believe that too. So yes, it's very interesting you mentioned that, because I didn't mention that, but I can see us like singing, and there's actually a group. A lady wrote me an email. I think I mentioned it on one of my earlier streams. That wrote me, and she actually has a group, a worldwide group that does that. They actually sing tantras or whatever, and so I was thinking if we can work together with our binaural beats and astral projection somehow, and sending energy, and with their singing, or maybe we can all join forces together somehow, someday. And I would like to learn these sacred notes too. And
Yeah, it's really fascinating.
yeah.
So anyway, shall I attempt to do this download that I had about why we're here?
Yes, please.
Yes,
Yes.
please. Yes, please.
Yeah,
You got me on the edge of my seat.
I don't know how successful this would be because I've never really told anyone. So I don't know if I'm going to be really good at
It doesn't
explaining
matter.
it.
It doesn't matter. You have take a crack at it, man. And you can come on as many
Okay.
times as you want in the future, and tell us
All right.
tell us in chunks if you have to.
Yeah, so I had a really profound download once when I was having a shower because obviously water and it's very energetic. So I was told the reason that we're here is not what we perceive why we're here. So a lot of people believe that we're here for life lessons and things like that. And I was told something very different. So I was downloaded that the creator of this reality was a teenager in its by its own species kind of standards. All right, I know that's a bit weird. Okay, and the reason for us being in this reality is to become like the thing that created us. Okay, so the only thing that this species does is create, does nothing else but create. Okay, and so what I was shown was that this dense reality here, where we move very slowly, is the first building blocks of creation, and that's why we're here. And the animals and the flora and everything here is purely for us to engage with these elements here and to learn about creation. So if you look at the simulacrum or anything like that, that's kind of distorted the concept of why we're actually here. So without that distortion, I was shown that or told that we would come in pure and without injury. Okay, this planet would be pure without injury. And we wouldn't be living in this kind of matrix here. We would be fully engaged with the elements around us to the point where obviously we would naturally have telepathy, that we could teleport, that we could manifest, and all these things would be completely normal to us. Animals wouldn't eat animals, they would be living off the prana. They would look very different because they wouldn't be distorted by the matrix, in the sense that animals kill each other, they eat each other, they have grown into species that have killing aspects built into their bodies, the fangs, the nails, and all that sort of thing. So our sole purpose for being here was to learn about creation. And without the matrix, we would spend all our time engaging in the very thing that the creator put us here for, whatever that might be. And we would have total freedom on this planet to pursue that. And the idea is that we would learn in this very dense reality, because it's nice and slow. So it's a beautiful learning ground for learning about how to create these things. So, for example, at the moment in this 3D reality with animals, if we want to learn about them, yes, we do watch them and we do study them, but we also dissect them and things like that, because we feel like by dissecting them and things like that, that we will learn more about them. But if we were in true harmony with the animals or everything around us, actually, which is not going to be a surprise to people in this group, they would telepathically impart all their knowledge to you anyway. So you wouldn't have to dissect animals to learn about their skeletal structure or their behavioral patterns or anything like that. You would just telepathically be able to understand them at such a profound level. And you could just dedicate your whole lifetime to a particular pursuit, whatever that was, learning about creation. So I believe that we are born to be creators, like the creator that made us. You could see it like a programmer, if you want, dropping us into a program to become a programmer like itself. And then within spirituality, obviously, we hear about these different levels. So what I understand is that each level, as we leave the physical plane, actually, then the next level, we learn about that particular dimension. So you leave your physical body here, you go into the next dimension, and then you learn about the, what do you call it? The sort of mathematics and the things that create that reality, which is where your spirit body is. Is this making sense? So what I was told is that every level that you go through, there would be a different aspect of creation that you would learn. And as you pick up these skills, when you reach a certain level, which I believe is like the 6th level in the spiritual realm, you would actually yourself then be able to create planets and life forms and things like that yourself. And you would be, it's almost like the thing that created us. And then I believe at a certain level that you actually transmute from what we perceive to be human in any way, and actually become like the species, like it is, whatever it is. So some people might call it God, the divine, the creator, or anything like that. So the way that I was kind of shown this is in very simple format. Whoever speaks to me in the spiritual dimension speaks to me in a very simplified way. And they were showing me children playing with geometric shapes. You know, like I was at the dentist, I was waiting all the doctors, and they had a sort of little play area for children. And they were sort of saying to me, why do you think children play with geometric shapes? And I was like, I don't know. And they were like, because they're learning about geometry, the very first parts of the building blocks of creation. Okay. So that's what I believe. I suppose deep in my heart, that's why I believe that we're here. And that's what I believe that our purpose is. So I suppose that leads me on to another thing, which I won't get into today. So I don't actually believe in reincarnation, okay? But I do believe it happens, but I just have a different perception of what it is. So
please share it.
When we say we're here to do, like we have a soul contract or something like that, from what I believe, that's not actually a truth for me, okay? And I don't know, for some people in the group that might not be a truth for them, and I can talk about that another time, but I do believe it does actually happen. So where am I going with this? So when we get these very bad things that are happening to us, you know, like you said, a lot of people have trauma in their life that have come to this group. I've certainly had a lot of trauma. And I remember feeling very, very relieved when someone said, but that's your soul contract. That's what you came here for. And I was like, oh,
why would I ever sign up for this, right?
Yeah, but I was like relieved. I was like, oh, it makes perfect sense. You know, I agreed to this. Okay. So I did really like that concept. I felt some calm. I felt some degree of acceptance of, you know, experiencing mental and physical and sexual abuse as a child. So that made me feel a lot better. But I'm someone who never stops analyzing, exploring, and moving direction with what I believe in. And what I feel is probably at this point that this reality has been distorted. That's my true belief. And when we have these terrible things happen, we had to come up with an understanding or a reason that would allow us to try and understand why these things are happening. And I believe that that was never intended in the first place. And it's like almost like a program gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And these are simply outer workings of a program that has gone wrong. That's my belief. So I don't believe that that is our purpose. I believe more sort of how you started this, Mark, that we do have these powers, okay, and I feel like that's more in tune with why we're here. So we weren't here to earn a living, to live in a house, to go shopping, go to work and things like that. None of that is real for why we're here. But I also don't believe that we came here to suffer. I actually believe that this was built as a beautiful creation to exist in, and something's overtaken that, and that we were here to be creators and to use our superpowers, okay, and to create something magnificent all together, then go to the next level and then learn about that aspect of creation.
Exactly.
So that's a belief that I hold very, very dear to my heart here. So I just wanted to share that. And another time, I'd love to talk about this other teaching about soul contracts and why I don't believe in it. And
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting thing to explore for sure.
yeah, or what I've learned through a certain teaching, which I find just very, very interesting, where it's actually described the structure of the spiritual universe and how we come in and where we come in from, which is really, really interesting, especially when you were saying, Mark, about you've just found each other, you and Linda.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a little bit there with this other teaching that I have. I can talk about it another time, which I think that might assist why you two are sort of on the same path.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's a little download I had.
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
So I'll just leave that there, shall I?
No, you have so much wisdom to impart, and I knew that when I
Yeah.
first met you. You're a gold mine, but I also knew you were kind of shy too. So now we just need to get, you've come leaps and bounds since I first met you, as far as coming out of the shadows. So that's awesome.
Well, you've made me feel really comfortable.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would just like to add though, I must agree with Stella and what she said, about going through each dimension and kind of mastering it all to get to the next dimension, and that's how you get closer to being a creator or creator himself or source. And I think that's what we're doing at the moment. We're trying to figure out this third dimensional reality that we're in, and we're looking at the metaphysical, we're looking at the physical, we're looking at literally everyone coming together with their view and their aspect. And I think this is what's going to catapult us to understanding this reality so much that it expands our awareness and makes us more, let's say, open to experiencing this fifth dimension that we've all been talking about. So I think that's our purpose of getting together, is that everyone has a piece of the puzzle, and we need to figure out this dimension before we move on to become a creator. So yeah, I definitely agree with Stella. Thank you.
I just had an epiphany. Check this out. This just came to me. I don't know why I didn't think about this before. You know how I shared a post in our group that showed this guy. He had this this black piece of plastic, or I guess, or something, and he had sand on it, and every time he hit a different note, the sand would go into a different shape, right?
Cymatics.
Stymatics.
Yeah,
That's the word.
cymatics.
Okay, but that's two-dimensional, really. What we need to start thinking bigger than that. We need to start like creating a certain kind of tube with sand in it that shows all the dimensions of the sand, not just on a flat surface, but actually in air. I think that's going to be key for us somehow. We need to see how that sand expands on all the other dimensions, if that makes sense
that's
to you,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
No, I love that. If I could just say something, we've got a couple of comments in the live. So they say, well, we are creators. We are creators right now. Absolutely, we are creators. We're creating everything. Well, we seem to be manifesting everything around us. But what I would say is, how many of us are really tuned in to telepathy with animals, or understanding the construct of the minerals around us and that sort of thing, and actually being able to create at that level or understand at that level, because obviously we have encoding in nature that we can't fathom at the moment. And I think if we weren't distorted by whatever's distorting us, we would have that sort of level of understanding of, if we look at quantum mechanics or anything like that, we would know that if we weren't in this distortion. That's what I believe. So yes, we are creators, but not at the level that we could be. That's my belief.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that, because I would agree with that we are creators and we can create anything. We can manifest anything. I believe that.
Yeah. So that's another subject. So I think I'll just break off from that there. If I've got time, I'll just go into my alien abduction, just change track altogether.
I'm laughing because last night I told Rochelle to make some popcorn because I knew this was going to be a very interesting episode. I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm loving this.
Okay. So, yeah.
Because this is a subject I've always been fascinated with. So.
Yeah. So, how long do I have actually, Jeffro?
It actually won't tell me until we're down to 10.
You got more than 10 minutes.
We've got 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. So my spiritual awakening really happened when it seemed like I'd had an alien abduction. And I think what's really important is that when this happened, I was living a very, very mainstream life. So I wasn't into spirituality. I wasn't an activist. I didn't even know about meditations or chakras or nothing. I was just working in cosmetics. My boyfriend was a British telecoms engineer, just a phone engineer. And we were really immersed in the matrix. And we just enjoyed our pets and going out for dinner and planning our holidays and doing up our apartment and everything like that. That's it. Didn't read anything. There wasn't YouTube. There wasn't anything like that at that time that I can remember. But I'm going back 25 years ago. I wasn't a hippie or anything.
You weren't a flower child?
So I wasn't alternative in any way, shape, or form. So I was about 34 years old. And although I had come out of my body before, astral traveled spontaneously, I'd really buried that kind of memory of doing that. So I had the flu. I was off work. I was in my bedroom. I was in bed sleeping. The flu was really bad. I was in and out of sleep all the time. And we lived about 80 foot up in a really old block of flats without any external stairwell or anything like that. So there's no way that anyone could enter this apartment apart from the front door. So I was laying in bed and I heard the back room window open, which was completely impossible. And I knew it was kind of weird. I was like, what the hell? Who, like, how could the back room window open? And I heard someone land on the floor. But I kind of even knew at that point that it wasn't human, right? I just knew it wasn't human. So at that point, I had sleep paralysis, so I couldn't move. My eyes were closed, and I couldn't speak. And I heard something or someone walk up the hallway towards my bedroom. So I don't know about anybody else, but when I slip into the other dimension, which I didn't know I was doing at the time, I don't see with my human eyes. I kind of see like in a video game, like I just sort of see or feel dimensions. I don't really see, like visually see. I'm not blind, but I don't see like. I can't explain it. So anyway, so this person or thing came into my bedroom, lifted up the duvet, grabbed me by the ankles and pulled me down the bed. Right?
Rude.
I know.
I know.
I've had that done to me, but I didn't go to a spaceship that I remember anyway.
Well, I don't know if I went to a spaceship, but it was terrifying at the time. And then I had, which I know now was missing time. And I just woke up. I thought I had a bad dream. And I relayed the story to my boyfriend when he came home from work. And, we just kind of laughed it off and that was it. So at the point, I just thought I'd had a bad dream. So a couple of weeks later, I'm making dinner. My boyfriend is flicking channels on the TV. And it lands on an alien channel, and he sort of went, "Oh, alien channel," laughed it off.
Yeah, of course.
And I know I've told this story in the chat, but you'll just have to listen again. And what happened, which now happens all the time, I know to a lot of people in the group and to myself, it's like everything went silent and everything stopped, and this voice just boomed out from the TV. When you've had an alien abduction, because you get dragged down the bed by your ankles.
Yeah.
So it was like getting confirmation of what happened. And then me and my boyfriend just kind of looked at each other because we're still in the Matrix, right? We don't believe in this stuff. Okay. We kind of looked at each other and sort of went, oh my God, and started laughing. And then literally, it's like we just switched off. It's like someone switched the program off. And I was just like, okay, are you ready for tea then? And I just started cooking dinner again. And we never spoke about it again.
So he experienced it with you, right alongside you.
He didn't experience my abduction because he was at work. Okay. But he experienced, obviously, that synchronicity. But I don't know if you guys can remember before you spiritually awakened, but your mind really polices itself.
Definitely.
It really shuts off anything abnormal or outside of the Matrix. That's what I believe. And that's what our minds did. We just shut it down and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So about after that experience, the main thing that happened to me is that I became ill. And I'd never been really ill before in my life. I was always like healthy, fit, never off work or anything like that. And all my hormone balances went out of whack. A lot of my childhood trauma came back to the surface. And I got really ill. And eventually me and my partner split up. And I moved into a really beautiful apartment, really light and bright and everything like that, not spooky at all. But when I left him, what I understand now what was happening is that a lot of spirits were using my body at night. They were coming into my body to express themselves and things like that. And it's too long a story to go into now. But the next thing that happened is that I saw an alien on my camcorder. So I was videoing a video for university. I was at university then. And what happened is that I had to take a video of a lighter flame in the darkness. So I did it in my flat. I shut all the doors. I made the video. I went back into my bedroom into the daylight and played the video back. And there on the screen was an alien. Okay.
Oh,
I know.
Not the alien.
Like now that wouldn't bother me. I would be really, really like, wow, amazing.
Do you remember what
But
they
at
look
the
like?
time I was, sorry.
Do you remember what they look like?
Yeah, I remember so clearly because it was just so clear. I mean, it would go viral. If I had it today, that video, it would go viral. So it was between a grey alien and kind of like a Dawn of the Dead person.
Ah.
And I could see them from the belly button upwards. And I could see them so clearly. But what happened was my mind was not ready for anything like that. I had not experienced anything like that. And I literally was horrified. And I remember kind of falling backwards, from the shock of seeing it. I just literally couldn't believe what I had seen.
I can just see you now.
I really did. And I shut the camcorder shut. And I kind of put it away, and I felt like I had this really dark secret in my camcorder, and I just wouldn't go near my camcorder again. I just shut it right down. I was like, no, I didn't see it. It didn't exist. I'm just going to carry on with life. Oh, someone's saying I'm noisy. Oh, no, it's not.
No, he was
Okay.
talking about his environment in his apartment.
Oh, okay.
He has
So
a little toddler.
So I shut it.
Tommy
so I
Hilfiger,
shut it
that's what I
down.
call him. Sorry.
So I shut it down mentally, physically. I just shut that experience down. But the universe wanted me to wake up. So what was happening was during the night, unknown to myself, spirits were coming into my body. I'd obviously opened myself up quite a lot through this. I was passing through mirrors in the night, and things like that. I was howling in the night. My family would tell me that I would howl in the night, and it would terrify everybody.
I always thought you might be a werewolf.
Do you mean that, Mark? Do you mean that?
Van Helsing, baby.
No, but it went on for about 10 years. It went on for, actually.
Wow.
I was doing this howling in the night sort of thing. And I had a flatmate. She told me that she woke up one night and I was standing by her bed, calling her name. Of course, it wasn't me. It obviously was someone that wanted to speak to her, but I didn't know that at the time. So there was a lot going on. So eventually I went back to
2-minute warning though. Sorry, 2-minute warning.
Okay.
No,
2 minutes. Okay.
No, we'll come back on. We'll come back
Yeah.
on.
So I went back to the camcorder eventually just to see if it was there. And I was like, it's not going to be there. It's not going to be there. I'm not going to see it. Right. I just made it up in my mind. And I played it back. And sure enough, it was there. As bright as day. And I literally, I just kept trying to shut this down, that it didn't exist. And the only person that I showed was my nephew and my niece, who were about 8 years old at the time, which I probably shouldn't have shown them. Okay. I didn't show any adults, and I didn't have any proof of that. And now I've over recorded it. So anyway, so that was the beginning of my spiritual awakening.
Wow. And how old were you then?
I was around about 34.
Wow. So you're a late bloomer compared to a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer. Yeah.
So you had no experiences like this when you were a little kid.
I had a couple of experiences. I don't know if you remember, but I said that my grandfather was one of the leading authors of the occult. So it's certainly in our family, but it's not something that I had within me consciously as a kid.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to regress you because you may have repressed memories, maybe, especially with a lineage like that.
Just a few seconds left now.
I'll open another room back up. You guys can come back in, and also in the chat, if anybody wants to come on, I know Alvary, you're. Honeybee's here. I know she has some experiences. If anybody that's listening right now wants to come in, just come on in. We're almost at the 3-hour mark, so we're getting down to where my new cutoff time is. I don't like to go too much past 3 hours, but once I cut all this down, like the first stream, my first astral projection stream, I was able to cut 2 hours out of it. Now it's just, or an hour and a half at least. So that's how all these are going to be eventually in the Fast Lane playlist. You just have to be a little bit more patient while I get those edited. But once I get caught up, then we'll be having more of these. And okay, stream. I was able to cut 2 hours out of it. Now it's just for an hour. Okay, we don't have Stella. So Rochelle.
Yes.
What do you think so far about this
Oh, that's
family?
awesome. It's been really awesome. I definitely have my popcorn. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Victoria's made a big bucket apparently, and she's making me hungry because I haven't eaten anything yet today. And Jafro made me
I
something.
actually,
But,
yeah.
I didn't have time. No matter how I plan it to have time to do things before the stream, it never works out ever.
Yeah. I actually wanted to share one of my experiences that I had. It's a very short one, but I went on holiday with my boyfriend, and I just remembered now. And we went on a vacation, and we were quite in an open field kind of safari kind of venue, and I had such a good sleep that night, but I woke up in my dream, which has never happened before. And it freaked me out because I had these beings who were laughing at me, and they're like, "Oh, Rochelle, we've done this a million times. Why are you so freaked out?" and for me, it's the first time like I woke up in my dream, and I think I wasn't supposed to wake up in my dream, and they were busy working on my heart, and they had all these energetic chords coming out, and they were busy tuning in with frequencies. And when I woke up, and they were shocked that I woke up, and I was like, okay, I want to go back now, and they just kept on laughing, like, oh my God, why are you so freaked out? It's just us, you know. And when I woke up, I woke up screaming next to my boyfriend, and he thought there was like a burglar or someone came into our place. And I said, no, they're still in the room. They're trying to get me. I don't want to go back. I told them I don't want to. And I'm just screaming like these weird stuff. And I Googled like the next day what was these frequencies that they were busy with, because I have a heart condition. And I had a heart condition, you know, since I was like 28. And then when I remembered the frequencies, it was like 64.4 hertz. And when I Googled, you know, the type of frequency and the number, it was actually for your heart chakra, which is absolutely crazy. And yeah, that was so I do think that they do come at night, and especially when I don't remember my dreams, because I remember most of them. Those that I don't remember, I do feel like they do come and help me out when I need, like, you know, my heart, because I'm not on medication anymore, because I think they've been busy with me, to be honest.
Awesome.
So yeah,
cool.
it's crazy. So that's why I would love to astral project, because you know, I feel like I could experience so much more. Those that I don't remember, I do. Oops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't really touched on that aspect yet, but um, or I don't think I've informed you, or you might have seen it in the past stream I've had so far. But yes, that is something that the reason I started talking about astral projection had nothing to do with my own agenda. This was something that you all you family that have found me wanted to do, wanted to know more about. This is the number one thing that bonds us all, I think, is the wanting to do that. So that's why. And then I realized that this was so much bigger than I realized, and it's something that I really. It's like one of my hobbies that I wanted to expand upon because I realized that the potential in it, and that's one of my superpowers, by the way. Everybody is
Mhm.
I have the ability to see the potential in everyone and everything. I've always been that way. Like you can show me a place that a tornado hit, and I'll see what that could become. I'll see the beauty of it after it's been transformed. I've always been like that. Like um, so, I'm curious to know how that power is going to manifest itself. I think it already has it in a lot of ways. Just by I've been able to help all you see the potential in yourselves so far. I think, and it's working. So it's pretty cool because once you find that you have this potential, then you're off to the races. I don't really have to show you anything more. Once you see your potential, then it's easy. I don't really have to do anything after that. So, but yeah, that's a big one. Astral projection. Just think about it, Rochelle. I know you'll agree with me that
Hmm.
you are just like me and most of us. We thirst for knowledge, and that's the best way.
Absolutely.
That's the best way. You don't have to die to get this kind of knowledge, and that's why
Hmm.
we can do it every night while we sleep because our spirit doesn't need sleep. Only our biological body suit does. And
Hmm.
so why waste the opportunity of not going out and getting the answers we need and or having fun traveling the universe? And I that's why I created this drop zone so we can all meet and travel
Hmm.
together. Once we all learn how to do it and control it, and it's going to take some time. And
Yeah.
but each of us is going to figure out shortcuts to teach everybody. And once we all teach these little shortcuts and stuff, then it'll just become like riding a bike, or that's how I envision it. I see that potential in our group. So
Absolutely.
uh, that's going to be. I can't wait to travel the universe with you guys, or the multiverse. It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I've
Me
never
too.
I've never read any book. I've never seen any YouTube video on anybody doing anything like that. So
Yeah.
I know Team Light
Yeah.
does a little bit of that as a group, more like on a warrior level. I've been out of touch with them for a while. Rion is uh, one of the first I learned astral projection from. He's the one that does the candle technique. If you can search for Dero7, that was his other name. I don't know if some of you know him, but
Mhm.
he shared this candle technique, and I still talk about it because it's a really good way to find out exactly where your third eye is. But they kind of they used to
Mhm.
try to travel together. I'm not sure how much of that they do anymore, but um,
I don't know if you know Elizabeth April. She's quite popular on YouTube. Um, she does a lot of out of body travel, and she does a lot of portal opening, and she summons everyone like around the globe to meet up with her in certain portals where it's quite like where it's needed to open or close a portal. And one of the biggest portals that she helped was with a Russian portal, and she does a lot of or she tries to do a lot of global astral projecting with everyone. So I'm not sure if you heard of Elizabeth April.
No, spell her last name and I'll type it into the chat real fast.
Elizabeth and
Yeah.
April. April,
Oh,
A-P-R-I-L.
just like the name April or the month.
Yeah, April. Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah, go
month.
ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. That's fine.
Sure.
Since you're already doing it. And maybe we can post maybe you could post a short post in our group too later about it. Give us a link, like a good first link
Mm-hmm.
that we can
Yeah,
watch.
but I think like what I like about you, Mark, is that when you describe the astral projection, you do it from from the get-go, from scratch. So it's like what you see when you close your eyes, and that's exactly what I experienced. The
Isn't that cool?
First I see like some orange, some black, and then it goes into like a blue, and it's so weird how that's exactly what I see. And I like the way you actually do it like step by step, which is quite cool.
Yeah, and I want to put that into maybe a separate video too. That's not like a live stream, but several people have requested that, and I do plan on that. Just to let everybody know. But the one I pared down for my very first stream, and the second one I'm almost finished with. I'll be finishing that today, and that'll be in the Fastlane folder. That those two videos will get you on your way, and all you have to learn then from there is just your own tweaks and tips and tricks that will teach each other in the future. But really, that's all you need. Those are the ingredients you need. You relax your body. You relax your body. You say something over and over. Clear your mind. Focus on your intention, and just relax. And don't try too hard. And you got to get rid of fear and have love in your heart. Those are the main ingredients. And if you can just do all those at one time, at once, then you can do it. And I also found out some interesting information I'm going to pass on to you guys that I just found out, and I can't remember where I heard it this week, but one of the top people in the Robert Monroe Institute said that binaural beats are good for beginners, but he says eventually you want to get away from them because, and I don't know why yet. I don't know why he says this. I don't know the reasoning behind why he said it, but he says it will eventually trap you to only a certain kind of...
He said it was like having training wheels. You can't corner the bike. You can't lean into a turn. You can't, like, there's certain maneuvers you can't do because there's training wheels in the way. And that was kind of his analogy for that.
So, yeah, Scott, body asleep, mind awake, so hard. Yeah, exactly. But the key to this, Scott, is to focus your intention. You have to know that your spirit doesn't need sleep. So when you're falling asleep, when you feel like you're getting drowsy, you just got to remember that and refocus your intention, without moving any muscles. And it takes some practice, but you'll get it. I promise. I can't wait to hear about your experience when you do. Oh, William Bullman's book, Adrian. I don't think I've ever heard of that name before. Yeah, exactly. I want to hear about a lot of your experiences. So on the next astral projection volume 4, it'll be. I want to hear about how some of your attempts are going. So yeah, this is
Mark.
Yes, Stella.
I'm just wondering if you would be interested, because I have a near-death experience. I don't know if anybody would like to hear about it.
I'm sure they would.
Or if anybody else is waiting to talk on this section.
No, go ahead.
Is that okay?
It's okay.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Because when you mentioned about the, you said about sort of like on a rail track there. I think, Jeffrey, you mentioned, didn't you? Like kind of like sort of stuck on a rail track if you only listen to certain frequencies.
Right. That's what this guy says. We're gonna find
Robert Campbell said that, yeah.
Oh, Robert
Yeah,
Campbell.
okay. Well, it just reminded me of an experience during my near-death experience. So, I'd like to tell you about it, if that's okay. So, it'd been about 20-year gap from the first time I spontaneously came out of my body. And so I was about in my 40s at this point. And I was due to go on holiday the next day. So I think I was in a very relaxed state because I didn't have any work and I knew I was going to be off for 2 weeks. And it was about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and I thought I'll just have a little nap. And I woke up above my body. And I have a thing with mirrors that I get pulled towards mirrors or travel through mirrors. And in the apartment I was in, had like a 20-foot ceiling, and there was a big mirror at the top of the ceiling. It was like an apex roof inside, and this massive mirror. And I was traveling towards this mirror. So I was about 20 foot up and traveling towards this mirror. But the thing that happened was when I came out of my body on this occasion, it didn't feel like an OBE. It felt completely different. And it's like I knew I had died, right? It's like my body, it's like my consciousness knew I had died. And it was such a gorgeous feeling as I came out of my body. And again, this is a new thing I'd only heard Mark say, where I heard this unlocking, like this clicking, unlocking as I came out of my body. But it was just so exquisite when I came out. It was like, I don't want to lower the tone here, but it was very erotic in some way, if I'm allowed to say that word. Very pleasurable, very sensual as I came out of my body. And I kind of slipped out. I just beautifully just slipped out of my body.
All right, kids, cover your eyes.
Okay. and I just said to myself, like, not in a panic, it's like my knowing said to myself, oh God, I've died, right? I was like, oh damn, I was going on holiday tomorrow. And I know a lot of people think like this, you know, it's just like, oh, I was going on holiday and I'm not going to get to go on holiday now. But I was so comfortable with the concept of dying like that. You know, I was just kind of like, oh, well, I'm here now. Let's see what this journey, you know, let's see how it takes us, you know, where it takes me, sort of thing. And I think that's really interesting when people do get to the other side. You know, we're just so comfortable in our new environment and things like that. And I just didn't have any thoughts about my family or my work or nothing. It's a bit like when I did psychedelics, and I was just, that's how I felt when I did psychedelics, just so happy in this other dimension. Anyway, I'm still in a horizontal position, and I still have that thing where I can't see when I'm in this other dimension. Like I have this kind of, I don't know, this sort of 3D dimensional space kind of interpretation thing. So I don't feel like I'm blind, but I can't see like I can in this reality. So I feel like I'm traveling up and forward towards this mirror, but at the same time, I enter this dimension where there's loads and loads and loads of people crowded into a space, which feels quite a big space. It feels like an auditorium or something like that, or if people are at a concert or something like that, but all the doors are closed. But I'm not with them. I'm still horizontal. They're all standing up and they're all shouting and sort of saying, come on, what's going on here? We've been waiting here for ages, and really angry and really frustrated. And I just heard all these different languages. There were people there from every continent there, every country there. And I don't know why, but a German language, a voice really, really stood out to me. And it was quite hot there. It wasn't flames, okay, but it was hot because everybody was so stuffed into this space. Anyway, I'm traveling horizontally, still laying down on the outskirts of this big crowd. And as I'm traveling, there's darker entities there that see me. And again, another thing Mark said, I was in this kind of glass coffin type thing, right? So I was sort of protected, and these dark entities were kind of lashing out at me, trying to scratch me and grab me,
Really?
but they couldn't, because I was kind of protected in this glass coffin. I'm still laying down.
That's how it feels. Like, yeah, that's a good way to describe it. A glass coffin.
Like Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, it's kind of like a force field, you know, around you. And I do remember at one point it started to constrict a little, and I had this kind of fear coming in, like it was gonna, I was gonna get claustrophobic, you know, as restricted. But as I sort of commanded it to be bigger, it kind of just got bigger. So I'm in this space, and I'm not religious, and I've had a 20-year spiritual journey at this point after the alien thing, right? But for some reason, I call out for Jesus. No disrespect to anyone who loves Jesus here, okay? But I call out to Jesus, like, I want to see Jesus. So all of a sudden, this coffin starts traveling up at warp speed, like so fast. I'm still laying down, and it just feels like it's just going through outer space into the cosmos somewhere. And I was like, whoa, 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 stop, 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 stop. I thought, just before I leave this dimension, I was happy to go, right? I thought, I just want to see my body one last time. I just want to see how people are going to find me. I just want to look around my flat and see how tidy it is. You know, just these normal things sort of thing. So as soon as I sort of commanded that, I started coming down at warp speed, like so fast, just like coming down in this coffin, just super, super, super fast. And again, I asked it to stop. I was like, stop, 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 because it was just so fast. Because I didn't feel like I wanted to come back to this reality. I just wanted to check things out. I just wanted to have one last look. But what happened is that it didn't stop quick enough, and I kind of just slammed into my body. And when I slammed into my body, I woke up, all right? And when I woke up, my brain was pretty scrambled. So before the experience, I was really good at maths. I was really good at spelling. I was an administrator, like a director level administrator in my day job. And all my spelling went to pot. Still now, I'm getting worse. I'm very dyslexic now. I can't do percentages. I used to do percentages just at a flick of a switch. I can't do any of that now. And I just felt like my brain had a complete overload. So even now, I feel like my brain is so topped up with stuff that I can't take any more information in. So I just wanted to sort of just share that experience.
Thank you,
Stella. That was awesome. That was cool, man.
Thank you.
Well,
I'm just still in your moment. I haven't come out yet.
That's so fascinating. You have so much.
I know.
I've got a lot more.
Where have you been hiding?
It's exciting. I can't wait to hear more.
We love you, by the way.
Thank you.
We love you, and you're not alone over there in your little what do you call where you live? Like the type of building you live in? Is it like a villa or?
I don't know what the right name is, but in Italy, in the south of Italy, all the poor farmers used to just build these little concrete blocks to live in on the land. Oh. And I'm kind of in one of those, and I'm very, very isolated. There's nobody here. There's no.
Feel you.
Can you?
Mm-hmm. I can. That's why when I watch your tarot videos and you have the fireplace going, I just feel like I'm in a nice, quiet, secluded, peace, tranquility, all the adjectives that make me feel, or all the adverbs or adjectives the ones that would make you feel like cozy and at home.
Yeah, well, it's actually been very difficult living here. It's been a real shock because I am a bit of a princess and I do like luxury, or I did like luxury. Not that it's got anything to do with wealth. I just love beautiful interiors and stuff like that. And I decided that, or I was yearning to be on the land. I think during the pandemic, I thought I want to get out of the city and I want to be on the land. And I manifested this house. I built a model of what I wanted.
Really?
Yes, I built a 3D model out of cardboard and painted it and built cactuses and stuff like that. And
That's
3 weeks
so
later,
cool.
3 weeks later, the exact house popped up on Facebook. Literally looks identical to my model. Even to the point where I was saying to Jen in the chat rooms, I had an IKEA hook, right? A black metal hook, and I didn't really know what it was for. And I put it onto the house, and it sort of looked like a water pump. I thought, oh, that looks pretty cool. And sure enough, this house doesn't have mains water. You have to pump it from a well. So it really delivered everything in the model. But it is not lonely, but I'm very isolated. And I almost feel like I'm in Westworld. Because when I look out my back door, I keep saying to them, I know that it's not a real sky. I know that's not real land. I know that you've put, like a movie set in here. It really is very bizarre here. It's the perfect place for alien landing, werewolves, Bigfoots, and all that to come here because there's just me and nobody else here. Yeah. But what happened is that I was really quite scared here. I had feelings of being attacked or murdered or whatever.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't have any security or anything like that here. And what happened is that a stray cat turned up. I know you'll like this, Mark, right?
Okay.
This wild stray cat turned up, and she became my partner in crime, sort of thing. And she totally made me feel safe because she wouldn't come indoors. So she would sleep outside my door. And I knew if I looked outside the door, if she was there, I knew there wasn't anybody in the area because she wouldn't be there. So I ended up having this really deep relationship with this beautiful stray cat who I named Astral before I even came to this group.
Wow. See? And if you look at your name, Stella, you're just missing a few letters for the name Star, right?
I know.
You're missing the E and the R.
No,
that's it. You're missing the E and R. That's it.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you about people's names as being a reflection of their life path, because Stella, as you probably know, in Italian, literally is the meaning star.
Right.
So when I say my name is Stella, they look at me and go, "What? Like up in the sky?" Like they find it really weird.
I'm a movie star.
It's the literal translation. And one of my ex-boyfriends here said, "How come you're English and you've got an Italian name? That's really weird."
Right.
But what's even weirder, and I'm really embarrassed about this, is that my middle name is Olive.
Olive, like olive oil. That's your new nickname.
And I'm just like, is someone having a joke?
Olive oil, I like it.
It's so crazy, isn't it? So anyway, I just want to finish off. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not hogging. I just want to finish off that once I woke up having an alien operating on me, on my back. It was one of those insectoid aliens. And I tried to fight them off because I'm really strong, physically strong, but they overpowered me and they put something into my back. And I've never had any back problems before or after or anything like that. And when I had my psychedelic experience, which I'll tell you about another time, I was kind of shown that these insectoids kind of shapeshift with and pretend that they're trees outside my house.
Check it out.
Whoa.
I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there, guys.
Yeah, that reminds me. Have you seen a YouTube video with what kind of like a praying mantis? But if you look closer, it was actually a little fairy and it flies off. Have you seen that video? I don't know if it's real or not, but it really makes you think. Like, it looks like it kind of looks like a praying mantis from afar, like you know how he blends in with the leaves. But then when you look really closer, it actually had a human body, like this little tiny thing, and it flew off. It had a head and everything, and it's a father and a son. Then they're looking at it and they're shooting it through a video camera. I'll have to find it and show you guys. It looks very believable, but it could be CGI, so I don't know. I don't know if anybody's ever checked it out to make sure it's not CGI or not. But yeah, there's all kinds of things like that people have caught on video. And I've seen so many things you can't explain just from hunting ghosts over the years, you know. Trying to get I've captured very wild EVPs and things in my cameras that can't be discounted. They weren't dust and they weren't anything else. But now, instead of trying to find these anomalies, I guess you could say, I want to know the science behind why I caught them on tape and video. That's what I've always been striving for, is to prove scientifically what all this is. So we have the talent here, just with the talent we have in our family right now to start really documenting a lot of these things. So I'm really excited. I hope you guys are excited too, because every day that goes by, more and more things are being revealed. Joni Rotten, have we talked ever? Are you a member of our group? I haven't seen you. I haven't seen your name before, it seems. You need to come on. You want to come on right now and tell us a story?
Okay, sorry, Mark, I have to go. It's 1:30 in the morning, South African time.
Okay, well,
and my kid is up.
Okay, well, I will see you in a minute on El Capitan.
Thank you for coming, Rochelle. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing
for having
with us.
me.
Yeah, and don't forget your winter coat, because we have snow over here in the mountains
We do.
now. Not supposed to have, but we have.
Okay, guys, thank you so much.
All
It's
right,
been
we love
awesome.
you. Thank you
Good
so
night.
much.
Right, good night.
Ciao.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Oh, you've been following the channel. Are you a member of our Facebook group, Joni? I haven't seen your name in the comments. Or have we, J-Fro? Have you seen her in the comments? Maybe you go by a different name. DC, this is your opportunity to come in. I know you want to come in and say something, DC. No, as far as I know, Scott, no. I'm on my attempt number 6. I've had to kind of put it on hold to do things here, like edit videos and stuff that I have to get out to you guys. But I've used up a lot of my extra astral projection power, I guess you could say, on doing these things. But once I get on track, once I get all caught up, I'll be able to do it more on a regular basis. That's the goal. And to work out. I want to work out and lose all this COVID weight I put on. I've been locked down since the beginning, guys. J-Fro has yanked me out of the house a few times to go on a nature hike. Like we took those pictures in the redwood forest the other week, and we want to do more things like that, just to get outside the house.
Yeah. It's the best time of year. It's spring, and Darko was talking
Yeah, but
about
it's not
living
spring
it.
yet. That's the problem.
Usually it's
Mother
spring though.
Nature
So the
usually
yard is
spring.
blossoming. Like there's greenery and flowers, and it's starting. It's just really cold right now for some reason, but usually spring is my very most favorite time of the year here in Northern California. Darko was talking about living in Guatemala. I was a little bit envious because I would follow spring around the globe if I could. It is just my favorite.
Why can't we?
Oh, I guess now,
That
right?
reminds me. Okay, everybody, those that are watching and those that'll tune in later to watch this, one thing I want to start exploring as a family, as a collective family, is let's try to start manifesting together. Just like baby steps, like maybe a certain time of day when everybody is awake. Like there must be a time when we're all awake and we're not sleeping. And maybe we can all manifest something at the same time. We can practice using simple things, nothing too amazing. Just, I don't know, come up with some ideas on what we can try to manifest together.
Like that bottle of ranch dressing over at the food giveaway. I needed some ranch dressing. It wasn't quite grocery day. And like walked over to where they give away food locally, and there was some ranch dressing right on the corner of the table.
Not only that, but it was like a premium brand of ranch, right? Like
it was a small thing, granted, like just a little everyday mundane thing, but it was meaningful to me for sure.
Right. Yeah, let's all practice manifesting things like Stella did it with her house. Because that's real, guys. That is real. I can tell you that from experience. I'm still learning. I'm a baby in that too. But also start communicating with your guides and angels. Even if you've never done it and you've heard it, you don't know how to. All you have to do is just think about it in your head. Just say to them, hey, can you help me do this? Even if you don't, but you have to believe that they're going to help you do that. Like, just start practicing doing it. If we all start practicing doing it, we'll be able to manifest quicker and bigger. Yeah, quicker and bigger. bigger and quicker. It works. Finding blue feathers, they are quite rare, at least in the UK. That's the second time I've seen blue feathers pop up this week. Where did we see that, JFro? Was it NDE Experience we saw? I think it was. Yeah, it was.
It was.
It was.
And they started coming from all over for this lady, but we have a leg up because we have jays. We have blue jays here. So
yeah,
they're in the yard.
We do have blue jays. I talk to my upper being every day. She's my best friend. Do you have a name for your upper being, Joni? Oh, Scott. Honeybee is a treasure trove of wisdom and knowledge. So maybe next time she can come on and tell even more stories. But manifest dimes.
Dimes. How about dollars? So Honeybee said she could come on again today if you're going to continue the stream.
Well, I'm looking at the time. We've already gone 3 hours and 36 minutes. So we probably should wrap it up for today. But would you all like to have another one tomorrow? I'm game if you guys are. I know it's the weekend and this is a good time for everybody to come on. Because you're not at work or whatever. Let me know. Let me know in the comments or in our group wall or whatever. Maybe we could start a poll. But I want to do this more often for sure. Because we have so many. Red food for Hodges. Why red? Oh, hot. Hot. She must mean hot food. I like the way you spell my name. Nobody ever puts it with an O before. Sorry.
I think it would be really awesome to all try and manifest something that wouldn't occur naturally in our environment, something very random, and all post pictures.
Yeah, and something that would give us a confirmation to know that how easy it is for us to do, right?
Yeah.
Not just, not have to guess whether it's a coincidence or not. But I mean, you should know, Stella. None of this is coincidence at all.
Well, I think that manifestation works very differently for lots of people, and some people can manifest things very easily, and I seem to be able to manifest houses very easily. I wish that I'd tried it more often, but some things I can't manifest at all. So I think it's really interesting. I have to build a model. That's how I manifest.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. I mean, that's one way to do it for sure. Because
Mm.
some people I remember over the years, I've listened to a lot of self help. You know, what's the name I'm looking for? Motivational speakers, right? So they'll tell you if you want $1 million to write it on a sticky note and put it on your mirror, your bathroom mirror, and just look at it every day. And just looking at it can make something come true. But if you really want to, just a baby step way of starting to manifest, just every morning when you wake up, just know that your day is going to be great, and know that great things are going to happen, and tell yourself that. And not only that, but here's the key. Here's the key to manifesting. You have to be excited, just like you would be if it actually happened.
Right.
That's the key. You have
And
to.
grateful.
And grateful. Yes, excited and grateful. Those two things, you'd be like, oh my God.
Oh, 1 minute warning. Less than 1 minute. Sorry, I forgot to watch.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to get this, whatever it is. And I'm so excited because I've been waiting for this for so long. That's how you have to start acting in your mind.
It feels.
Yes. Oh, okay. Here, I'll start a new one just for a second. Stella, if you want to come back in and just finish out our stream. Honeybee, are you available tomorrow? I could do it at the same time, or a little bit later, or a little bit earlier. You tell me. Yes, I'm not sure. I think J-Fro made some quesadillas. All right, Honeybee's gonna be in the house tomorrow. That's awesome. J-Fro makes the best quesadillas too. Yeah, I'm so hungry. I can't wait. So, what did you think, guys? Did you have fun today? Yeah. So I'll do this tomorrow. Is the same time okay with everybody, or do you want it a little bit later, earlier? Okay. All right. 12 o'clock it is my time. So that'll be 3 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Mountain, and then we jump over the Atlantic and keep going. I think in Hawaii it'll be like 9 o'clock in the morning in Hawaii, and almost a whole day later in Australia, New Zealand, and Japan. There you go. Okay, 8 p.m. UK. Perfect. Yeah, Honeybee, I'm so excited. I love when I love to hear your stories. We have so many to listen to. Eduardo, always attached to me, no matter which time for me. Okay, gotcha. That's awesome. Victoria, 3 o'clock. Be there or be circle. 7 a.m. here. That's right. Yeah. Well, hey guys, thanks for coming out. tell me what you think in our group comments and group chats. What you think about what I've said at the beginning of the stream. And please, when you hear this message, please come and join our Facebook group, Game of Scrolls. It's very important that you start engaging with us because we all have to learn each other's. There's at least one person in the group that needs to hear your story. It may not be me. It may not be Spirit Deer or anybody. It may be somebody who you would least expect that needs to hear your piece because they have a piece that you have that they need to give us their piece. And it's just like a snowball that keeps running. So don't hang on to your piece. Let it go. Surrender it. Love you guys. My pleasure, Enco. So happy you guys came, and it's amazing what's happening. It's an amazing family. I'm so proud, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. Okay, guys. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Love you all. Take care and be safe out there, okay? Love you.